Yo, yo, yo. Thank you for joining us on the Logistics Lounge. We had a guest lined up for y'all today, but Lucas White Cotton, that's right, y'all DM Mr. White Cotton and ask him why he didn't come on the Logistics Lounge. Didn't show up today, but we're going to see if we can get him back on. We're still going to talk about driver training. Any of y'all drivers out there or anyone else that has been a driver wants to jump on and chime in and join the discussion, just let us know. We'll drop y'all a link. Sit back, buckle up, pop a top, enjoy the lounge. Mr. Ham, how you doing, bro?
What's up, Pedro? I'm doing good, man. Doing good. It's another rainy day here in Nashville. Um,
Damn, bro.
yeah, dude, that shit kills me, man. The barometric pressure, whatever they call it, bro, it gets my head all stopped up. But it's been a good day. The Masters just started. Um, so I've been watching that. Well, if Dan's working, I've been working all day. But
You are
keeping the
into
Masters on.
like every fucking sport out there, aren't you, bro?
Yeah, I love sports, man. I like sports betting. If we're gonna get down to it like that. But yeah, dude, but it's the Masters. I mean, it's just like the event. I don't watch golf all the time though. It's good on Sundays though for napping.
Yeah, dude. I used to have a brother-in-law. He was like that, man. He loved just every sport, dude. I mean, just every sport, and you wouldn't expect it from this guy. I won't get into it, but you just wouldn't expect it from this motherfucker to watch water polo. I mean, just everything. I think he was just a competitive person. He was an athlete in like high school and stuff. But dude, it was so crazy. He'd be sitting there watching golf, and you'd be trying to talk to him, like, shh, trying to watch him make this shot.
Yeah,
I'm
see,
like,
I'm not
bro,
like that, dude.
dude,
Like I just
we're
like I said,
not,
man. I
we're
like throwing
not.
some crazy bets down on like basketball, dude. Like March Madness and all that. Like I'll throw down like some insane 8 game parlay and have $5 on to win a couple thousand. So I'm just going ape shit the entire time, hooting and hawing, and it makes it fun. It just gets
Yeah.
you into it. But yeah, I don't know. It's something to watch, something to do, I guess. It's oh, our boy Dustin is back. But yeah, been a good day. How's things going on in your neck of the woods?
Man, another normal day. Got my stuff done pretty early. I had my things for today booked, or I thought I did, and then man, within like an hour, I got over I don't know things like 8 loads or something like that, and so yeah, but I got all those done, and you know, I would say no time flat, but like by lunchtime, so just kind of chill, bro. Did some prospecting, man. Cleaned out um, my sequence list in outreach and added a few more prospects. And that's pretty much it, dude. Nothing freaking exciting. Honestly, the biggest thing that happened to me today is our guest ghosting us, man. Oh,
It's unfortunate.
Ed, I know you do, bro. I know you got your CDLs. Come on the show and we'll talk about it.
I is the
I'll,
super trucker.
bro, I will. Yeah, I'll tell you about that CDL shit here in a minute. But damn, complete lost train of thought. We're going to go to a sponsor break. That's what we're going to do till I get my shit back together. Sureline Capital. We know that a lot of y'all are talking about doing business with them and are in talks with Clint and his team. Make sure that y'all tell them you heard about it on the lounge. We just want our sponsor to know they're getting their bang for their buck. But we appreciate it. We're glad that y'all trust us enough to go do business with them. And all of y'all who have switched to them, man, go leave them a review and let everyone know how freaking amazing they are. So, Shoreline Capital. There you have it, folks. Shoreline Capital. Clint
Boom.
Weston, Nick Yunker, Clint's family. I'm telling you that them people, they're awesome. Matter of fact, let me do this banner. I forgot, bro. When you sign up, go use that code right there. You'll get that first invoice for free. I still don't remember what I was going to say, so I'm going to tell you about this CDLs thing. All right, so Ed is in all kinds of like groups, trucking groups and shit on Facebook, man. And he does it just to troll people. Not like be rude, but people post stupid shit and Ed likes to correct people on their stupidity. Some people don't like that. I think it's quite comical in the way that he does it. But one of the common things you'll see on Facebook is for some people, some reason, people will put, I have my CDLs. And like everyone, I won't say everyone, but a lot of people are like, how many do you have? I didn't know that you needed multiple fucking commercial driver's licenses. You know what I mean? Like, do you mean you have like your class A and all the endorsements? But anyhow, so it's just a consistent thing, man. And it has nothing to do with,
I got my
your
CDLs.
whether you know English or your color or your religion, none of that stuff. It's just everyone has done it. All these people do it. And so and then there's others that will say, I'm a super trucker, same thing. So that's Ed's thing, man. He likes fucking with people and telling them that he's got his CDLs too. So it's pretty. He sent me this thing today, man, about this guy, and Ed is somebody was talking about broker transparency, and Ed, told him a lot of people says like, dude, the rule is already on the books. All you got to do is request it. Like, really, what is your end game here? Blah blah blah. The same argument, but dude was like, oh man, spoken like a typical broker. And Ed told him, he's like, man, I'm a broker, I'm a shipper, I'm a manufacturer, we run a construction company. He's like, but when you talk to me like that, you'll never get any of my freight. I was like, it's fucking troll, man. He's something else. Jeff, what's happening, my friend? What is happening? How was your day? Drop another comment. Let us know. We need to get Jeff. You need to pop in again soon. We ain't had you on in, I don't know, almost 2 weeks, huh? We ain't seen
It's been a
seen.
while.
Yeah, we need to see the progress of that beard. That beard, dude. That's what we need to see, man.
His beard's fake, so
Yeah,
gonna do
man,
whatever you want.
that dude, he must like add Miracle Grow to his damn beard regimen. I'm telling you, man. It's like that thing grows quick. I thought my facial hair grow fast, man. Seems like be growing that damn beard overnight. Watch, he's gonna come on the show and it's gonna look like Santa, dude.
I
That's
hope
what
so. I think it's
that would,
incredible, man.
that
Like
would be cool, wouldn't it? Okay,
maybe he'll
go get
give out his secret someday.
huh?
So maybe he'll give out his secret someday. I've never
Yeah.
seen anybody grow a beard like that, clean and that fast. But we can get off
He,
Jeff's
I,
beard.
I know, dude. He did, man. He really fucking did. I think it was funny the short amount of time that he lasted without facial hair.
Oh,
You
the
know,
expeditious
yeah,
cowboy.
yeah. Like how fast he lasted without it. That was the comical part. He's like, yeah, I shaved it off. The wife, such and such, blah blah blah. And then like a week later, he's like growing as a whole freaking beard again.
Yeah,
All
Jeff,
right.
get on here tomorrow.
Yeah. We'll see tomorrow, man. Yeah, you can for sure go and
We won't
chill
pick
with
on
me.
you for at least 5 minutes.
That's very true. For at least 5 minutes and 5 seconds.
At
We'll
least.
yeah, we'll even add a little buffer in there. I know you are a super troll, Ed. You really need to come on the show, man. Like seriously, you were a freaking hoot. And don't think I ain't forgot about you, man. I'll call you after the show. I also got to call Ticket Money. Ticket Money and I Ticket wants to have a very interesting conversation. I'm not going to talk about it on here. I'll text you and tell you about it. But you would never, you wouldn't expect for him to be asking me about what he's asking me about. So pretty comical, I think. Let's get into some news. Then we're just kind of gonna go into the driver instruction thing myself or ourselves. Talk about that. I don't know. I'll give my little viewpoints on it. And oh, Ryan, fuck yeah, Ryan, you can help me talk about
Yeah, I feel like
driver.
this conversation is going to derail so fast.
No, man, this
No,
was
it'll
good.
be good though. It'll be good.
Well,
I
yeah,
got.
because
I'm trying to get a new one here too, because he might know. He owns
well,
some.
I mean, no, yeah, I mean, no offense to
What's
you,
happened?
homie, but you never been a driver, bro, so you really can't talk about driver training. You know what I mean? And like the
I can
things
talk about
that are.
anything I want. You don't know who I am.
I mean, that's true. That's true. That's true. I've only known you for
No,
3.5 years.
I'll give my 2 cents as a dumb broker.
No, bro. Yeah,
Driver training what?
Hey, Ryan, are you do you for real? Are you for real going to chill? You have a little time to talk?
I got a little bit of time. Yeah, I got the
Okay, all
kids
right.
here. So
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm saying like our guest didn't show up today, and he's a CDL instructor, so really wanted to still talk about driver training, from entry. You know what I mean? That's
yeah,
obviously what he does. He does it at a school and stuff. And I
yeah, I
think
did it. I went to a drive. I went to a CDL school.
yeah, yeah. All right. Well, cool. Hey, I'm gonna run into this news real quick. I kind of just touched on this a minute ago. I think everyone's going to love this. Everyone, bear with me. This is an extremely long article, and I probably only am going to talk about half of it. So, yeah, there's a whole lot more to it. So just bear with me. Pretty long news today, but very interesting. Some people are going to laugh. Some people are going to cry. Some people are going to run scared for the woods. So we'll here we
Yes.
are. Look at that. Look at that. For all of you out there talking about broker transparency and how it never, ever freaking happens. Boom, right here. And I'm going to point out again, dude, I got to call Overdrive and tell them, dude, y'all just send me all of your articles the day before you put them out so I can keep up. Because this is like, ever since we got back from Matt's, man, I'm on an Overdrive.
They've been
Uh,
talking about this for a week now. This
what?
the people involved in this been talking about this for over a week now.
Well, fine. This is the first I've heard about it, and so I'm going to talk about it today. Is that okay with you, Mr. Van Brocklin?
Yeah, go ahead. When
All
you
right.
see the names
Hey,
that are
thank you.
posted in there, you'll recognize them
All
probably.
right. Yeah. Oh no. I don't. I don't say those. I know exactly what you're talking about. Hunter and I talked about it behind stage. I am not going to mention some of that stuff, but yeah, or some of those names, but yeah, I could see where they've been talking about for a while. So, all right, whatever. Here we go. FMCSA has, for only the second time in its history, forced a freight broker to reveal tender rates. This comes after a double brokering scam under Uber Freight's network, and it left a carrier unpaid, and he ended up complaining to the regulatory agency. All this began back in late 2023 when owner operator Richard, and I hope I'm saying his last name right, I believe I am, Richard Blaga, booked a load of wine. Man, look at that. We need to get him hooked up with TJ.
I was gonna say
Booked a load
TJ
of
would be all
wine,
over this.
dude. Yeah, booked a load of wine heading from Oregon to New Jersey for a set of team drivers that are part of his small fleet. The load promised to pay $88.50. I want to point out that way deep down in the article, it says that at that time the lane was only supposed to pay like $67.50 or something like that. So I don't know why they didn't look at them catching. But load promised to pay $88.50 for the 2,900-mile reefer run. But when his drivers went to the shipper, they got the paperwork. They had just a really bad feeling that had crept up on them. The load was booked on DAT under a broker named Delta Dune. But he had never got a pickup number when he had booked the load. He was just told to check in under their information. He, having been double brokered a few times before, he knew that sometimes brokers will give the load to a few carriers and they'll wait to see who shows up first. And then that carrier will be the one to actually get the load loaded and get the documentation. So, as in that case, he told his drivers to park once they got loaded and send him the BOL so he could confirm everything. Despite the fact that he booked it on DAT, the BOL showed that the load, or I'm sorry, despite that he booked it on DAT under the Delta Dune freight brokerage, the BOL showed that the load was actually tendered to Uber Freight. Blago was already set up with Uber Freight, so he said, "Hey, I'll call them. I'll get with them. We'll just override this situation, and I'll get whatever the pay is directly from the broker." This is actually the third or fourth time he says he's been doubled and even triple brokered. So he said that what he does is he'll grab the load, and if he finds out it's a double broker or triple broker deal, he'll then call the original broker or the shipper, because sometimes direct shipper loads do get double brokered, and he says he'll see if he can sort it out. And he says he just tells him, "Hey, look, either I can do this business direct with you and you can pay me this amount that I booked it for, or I'll just take the load back to the shipper," which, to be honest with you, I think that is very admirable of him. He's not trying to hold it hostage, not making any demands. He's saying, "Hey, either pay me what I booked it for, or I'm just going to take the load back and just be rid of it. So I do want to give him props for that. He sent Uber Freight a message on this, including the original rate confirmation that he had got for $88.50. Uber Freight then looked up the load and put Blaga in touch with the account manager that was in charge of that customer. They then, or I say they, Uber then traced it and looked up the tender, and it had been tendered to a carrier called Maroon Express. The account manager at Uber vouched for Maroon Express and said he had worked with them for a while and that they could be trusted, that he would be okay running the load under them and they would pay him because they have a good reputation with Uber, whatever that freaking means to anybody else. So Blaga accepted to continue with the load. He said he communicated with Delta Dune, which was the broker he booked it under, and Maroon Express, which was who Uber booked it under, updated him on every step of the load, pick up, ETAs, all that. He said, yet when he arrived at the receiver on Monday, they delayed him until Tuesday, at which point he requested a $500 layover for his team, pushing the rate over $9,000. He ended up dropping it on Tuesday, and he said that is where the trail went cold. Several weeks had passed. There had been no payment from Delta Dune or Maroon, so Blaga decided to get back in touch with Uber, who said that they would check with the manager, and the wait just continued. He said all of this went on till about mid-October when the Uber account manager finally responded saying, hang tight, and was providing no real information or recourse. The response then from the account manager was, and this is quoted, hey man, I'm trying, really I am. I've reached out personally and the numbers aren't in service at the double broker. So the guy right there said that he, acknowledged it was a double broker deal. The account manager wrote in the text thread to Blaga and shared, I escalated this and they, or Uber, are conducting an investigation. They are currently suspended from our platform, talking about Maroon Express. And I'll keep trying to follow up if anything comes up. If you need to know, you'll be the first to know. That was mid-November, and then after that, Uber ghosted him again. This guy, Blaga, then decided, hey, I'm going to escalate this. He took it to a debt collector, and Uber finally then decided they wanted to offer him to pay him $6,000, which was what they had tendered the load to Maroon Express for. And Blaga said, no, hey, this is what I booked it for. I want the $88.50. Here's the rate confirmation. You knew this from the get-go. You said to run this load, and I would be okay getting paid. And again, they saw that rate tender, and they did not correct any of that information when he had sent that to him right after he had picked up the load. So the debt collector, they ended up invoking 49 CFR 371.3, which is the rule regarding broker transparency. And she said she also sent a subpoena to them for the records, and Uber still denied to play ball, saying they would only pay $6,000. Then they escalated up, got the FMCSA involved. Finally, at that point, Uber eventually offered to pay the $88.50, but by that time, the debt collector said, hey, no, man, it's more than that now. Like, there's late fees, there's interest. This guy had to make this money up somewhere else. Basically, hey, I need more money for this. You screwed him over, so forth, so on, which I agree with. I think that's fine. I mean, $88.50 is what he did for the load. They still owe him at very least another $500 on top of it.
Let me say something about that real quick.
Yeah,
So when they found that broker transparency and they were happy with the margin that the broker was making, that's when they said, let's escalate this, and because they wanted to see what the margin was too. So they saw that the broker was taking a decent margin, and they agreed with that the broker should have that margin, and it wasn't a crazy margin. So that's when they started with the interest and all that stuff.
Well, I mean, dude, honestly, even if this was a situation where the broker made a ridiculous fucking margin, that's not what this started out as. You know what I mean? Like, this driver, that was the last thing they did. All they wanted was their money. They didn't give a shit if Uber made 50 grand margin on it. They didn't.
They wanted their money.
They just wanted the 88.50, or actually the 93.50, including that $500 layover that they were promised. That's it. I do not see a problem with that at all, and I 1,000%.
I think that Uber should pay him that.
I
But
agree.
to put the interest and the collection fee and all that stuff in, that's that's I think a little too much.
Ryan, hey, no man,
You're
I don't
crazy,
know, man.
Ryan.
I still disagree, bro. If you gotta think this is a debt collector. So for one, they need money too, but also you and I are doing business together and you owe me money, we sign a contract. Anyone with a decent sense of business is gonna put in that contract late fees for every time you are late. It doesn't matter if I redid a bathroom for you, I'm gonna put in late fees and small interest charges if you decide you want to pay me over time. And I agree with that, man. You got to think $8,800, or let's just say the 6,000. That's a good chunk of change, man. If he's paying his team drivers, if they're owner ops, and he's paying them, the typical 80%, 80-20 split or whatever. I mean, dude, like that was a lot of money he had to come out of pocket, plus the fuel to make a cross country trip. Like, I honestly, I'm on these people's side. My only point here that bringing this thing up is, the broker transparency. It's a big deal right now. And here it is, another one of the big boys getting in trouble for it. You know what I
What
mean? It's
is that the broker transparency didn't even need to happen. That's
but
what I'm
that's my point. That's my point.
yeah.
It didn't even need to happen. But they used it as a very last resort. And the FMCSA is the one who probably pushed that, because if you see that never was brought up until they made it up to the FMCSA and they said, "Hey, we'll get involved." So, dude, I mean, it was their own fault. But I mean, I also understand Uber wasn't trying to come off, an additional, $3,000 or whatever on their load. But still,
Yeah,
the
but
driver told you. Go ahead.
Uber runs an agency model also, so they're not completely at I don't know. I guess if the agent didn't communicate it with Uber corporate, right? Whoever the contact was, the account manager, right, is probably an independent agent. So if he didn't, communicate that with Uber corporate that it needed to be paid and need to be released and all that stuff, then that's it. He's dropping the ball there, and Uber's suffering. But I mean,
Well, I mean,
I don't agree with Uber anyway. I don't haul.
yeah,
When
I,
I
I,
when I was a truck driver, I never hauled Uber freight. That's cheap
yeah,
freight.
I never hauled it as a driver, but I mean, I helped a few friends and stuff with their companies, and we hauled it a few times, man. We were in a bind. It was kind of like LQT freight, man. You really don't want to fuck with it, but sometimes that's just the only thing you can get to get yourself moving. But my point is, man, I don't give a shit if it's an agent model. I don't. I don't care. This is 1,000% on that agent, the broker, Uber, 100%, because that guy. It says right here, man, and I believe it. Overdrive does their due diligence, and the carrier said, "Hey, this is what I'm told I'm getting paid." And Uber said, "Go ahead with it," or this agent, whatever you want to say, regardless. He works for Uber, even if he's an agent. That's the brand and that's the company that does his insurance, the bond, all of that stuff. So he should have called it right there and said, "No, man, I'm only paying six
Why
grand."
didn't Why didn't he just file against the bond when he wasn't paid?
Bro, why file against a bond? I filed against a bond twice. Ain't seen a fucking penny. They take your information and then they string you along for 6 months. And by that time, you're just screw it. I done already lost the money. I done already made it up. Bonds are a worthless ass thing in this industry. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
I ain't never heard of anyone ever getting paid out on a bond. They're pointless, man.
this has been over 6 months too. I think they said it was back in late
Yeah,
2013.
it did, man. It did. But again, man, like bonds, they're ridiculous, man. I mean, anyway, but a point of the deal is here's broker transparency. It's getting out there. It sucks that Uber or that this guy's getting messed with. I think by now he's got paid, but yeah. And I also just want to point out, man, here it is, another one of these big brokerages giving everybody else a bad name. That's what it is, man. I say this industry is reversed, man. You know what I mean? It's these big guys fuck it up for everybody, not the
Oh,
little guys.
hell yeah.
You know what I mean? They screw it for everyone, man. Because this is the stuff that makes the headlines. You know what doesn't make the headlines is Robert and Hunter or Ryan or Josh or whatever. Oh man, these brokers do a great job. They paid me $250 above the lane rate. We're
That
completely awesome. You don't ever see that shit anymore, dude.
You're right.
You know what I mean? You don't ever see that shit.
Hell yeah, you're right.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I just in my brain, because I was listening to you guys,
Wouldn't it make sense for Uber Freight to cancel the load for for the other guy, and just deal
Well,
directly for that carrier to like
yes,
solve this whole issue and problem?
I would think so, but I think or I know Ryan's right on them having an agent model. So I think he is correct in his conclusion that it was an agent, and the agent, was like, oh man, I don't want to unbook it, do all this stuff. So yeah, in the article it says that Uber said, oh man, it's fine, go ahead and run it under him. The guy just literally found out his loads being double brokered, and he said, go ahead and do it. I work with these people, this broker all the time, or this carrier all the time, Maroon Express,
So hold
and
on.
and you'll get paid.
Was Maroon Express the name of the agency? Maybe.
No, Maroon Express is who Uber
Double
booked it
broker.
under, and then Maroon Express turned it over to their brokerage, Delta Doom, who then booked this carrier, Mr. Blaga. So I mean, you got probably two or two
I
different
know.
three
I know
MCs
that's
involved.
what it says, but it doesn't mention like any MC numbers or if they. I didn't look up if they
It
were.
gives I'm not going to look them up. It gives the names. I gave you all the names. Go to Overdrive and read it. All y'all can go look up there and see them.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
no,
Well, I didn't
Maroon.
read it, and I didn't know. I don't know if like because I know me as an agent, my company name is the agent, not me personally.
Well, it was well Uber Freight, the account manager at Uber Freight said he tendered the load to Maroon Express. So no, Maroon Express isn't the agency.
Yeah, but you know how like agencies work, right? So like
Oh,
you could have called HD Shipping Solutions operations team and they told you that the load was tendered to Van Brocklin Trucking, which is me. You know what I mean? So this is like when you talk to somebody at Uber, they could have not known who what was actually going on, like that it was an agent model or something
well,
like that. You know what I'm
but
saying? Like
I do.
there's some details I think I'm missing. I'm just playing devil's advocate kind of, but
No,
I
I
think
got you.
there's like more involved to it to why it wasn't paid on time. Like I'm
I
just trying to give Uber the benefit of the doubt.
No, you better. I mean, I guess. I mean, I can see the point, but regardless, Maroon Express took it and then brokered it out to another carrier. As a carrier, they may have, or whatever. Even if it was given to Delta Dune as a carrier, they then booked it out to another carrier. You know what I mean? So regardless, it's a double broker thing. And
Yeah.
and honestly, I feel that I mean, Uber just wanted to get the load picked up, or this agent did, because the carrier even said, "Hey, man, I'll
That's what
take the
I'm
load
saying.
back
Is
to the
was
shipper. We're
was it
we're
actually
parked right out front."
double brokered or was it co-brokered? That's what I'm trying to really get at. Like,
I
is
don't, I
Delta
don't, I
Dune a
don't know.
carrier? Is Maroon
I
Express
hope
a
it was triple brokered.
I don't know, man. I only have the information in the article, and it doesn't like go into that exact detail. But still, though, man, the guy was promised 88.50 for the load. When he contacted Uber, who on the BOL is said who the load was actually brokered to, and he said, "This is what I'm saying to get paid. I'll either run it for this amount, which I was promised, or I can go back into your shipper and I can return the load." Which again, I think is very admirable of that carrier. Most people just would have drove down the fucking road, called you 7 hours out, and be like, "Hey, this is the situation," and then you'd say, "Take the load back," and they'd say no. So I think this carrier did a very good job doing their thing. And the point is, regardless, they were promised 88.50 and then offered 6,000, and then it took them months and months and months to even, or in months and months, took them well over a month to even get Uber to agree they'll pay the 6,000, and then it took an additional more for them to actually get or offer the 88.50 they were promised. So basically, the whole thing comes down to, man, is I mean, the people are done wrong, and this happens a lot. And I am also want to give credit to the FMCSA. I mean, this right here is showing that they're trying to take this situation serious. What they do with it, I don't know, but I mean,
Kudos, yeah.
ever since to Matt's a few weeks ago, and I'm telling you, when FMCSA did those talks, those pro talks at Matt's, like they were saying, "Hey, we're cracking down on this stuff now. Like everyone's complained enough. We're going to start trying to do something." And again, I'm not saying they'll solve the problem, but the fact that they're recognizing it and they're trying to address it in whatever way they can, I think is a positive thing. We all have to agree with that. You know what I mean? It just shows that if
I
the
agree.
masses come together and enough people, make a stink about something, something will be done. And I think that's a good thing, man. It's part of the stuff our country's built on. You know what I mean?
Well, at
So
the bottom of that article, it says that what they're doing is getting rid of the fraudulent carriers rather than, and they're putting broker transparency on the back burner until the end of 2024, is what it says at the bottom of that article. So I thought that was funny.
I saw that, and I mean, again, dude, you can see, Ryan, this fucking article is long. I was not about to
Yeah,
type.
I read the whole fucking thing.
I did too, but I wasn't going to type out
I took the survey at the end too.
Yeah, but either way, even with that, the fraudulent carriers, it's still a good thing. Still, that's a good thing. They're still trying to address two issues. And I get the broker transparency thing, like they will do it at the end of 2024. They said that at Matt's, because they got a lot of stuff they're trying to do. But regardless, they're trying to address two things with this issue, which is the broker transparency and getting rid of the double brokers and the fraudsters, scammers, whatever you want to say. So I think it's a pretty good thing.
FMCSA would never get rid of double brokering. Never.
Yeah. I don't know.
Dude, the industry has always found workarounds in all the 15 plus years that I've worked in it.
The big thing is double brokering and co-brokering, right? So everybody thinks that double brokering is two brokers are involved, which that's not really the case.
I'm talking about real double brokering, not co-brokering. There's a co-brokering agreement, dude. Like where the shipper.
Josh, you're wrong. Look how well they regulated lease purchases. They fixed that and made that go away like decades ago with the Truth in Leasing Act. I mean, with such great, just innovative solutions from government regulators and their track record of solving problems, they're definitely going to make this disappear.
Oh yeah, I agree with Daniil on that. Definitely 1,000%. Come on, Josh.
Man, you're wishful thinking, man.
When is the FMCSA of the government?
You guys are optimistic.
No, they're being sarcastic, Josh.
Oh shit!
Like, see, Anil's just so weird. He's a smart ass. Sometimes you just can't tell.
I should have known better, Anil, you asshole.
Oh, dude, I had you all wired up too.
I was about to go ham.
Josh,
mental bank was like, let me try to remember what the fuck I went through this bullshit. You assholes.
The Truth in Leasing thinks that the carrier can't lease the truck directly, that the carrier has to start a leasing company. So every carrier that leased trucks started a business that leased trucks only to their carrier. So in the lease, it says that you can only run under this carrier's authority, and that's the Truth in Leasing.
Now they added an extra 20 pages to every lease, so that fixed everything.
Exactly, yeah. And what Western Express did is right next to their office, they went and bought a double wide trailer and put it on their property right next to their office and called that the leasing company. Same address as Western Express, the carrier, the same address as the leasing company. Same company. You email somebody from the leasing company, they have an @Western Express email address.
JB, what's up, you fucker?
What's up, Josh?
What's up, pimp?
What you boys been getting into today? I'm telling you, you motherfuckers are blowing up my ex with all these space invites. Like, I get side messages on both my page and the lounge page, and then like y'all just start, I don't know, man.
Hey, who bailed on y'all
to start
today?
5 new states. Like, you guys got jobs?
I didn't mean to bail today. The old lady called. I had to go.
No, what'd you say, Josh? About what?
Who bailed on y'all today? What guest bailed?
This guy Lucas, man. He's a CDL instructor, man, at a driving school. So, another thing that doesn't get a lot of, I guess, like main. I'll say this: above the fold. If you're old enough, you know what above the fold means. It doesn't get enough above the fold coverage. And which is driver training, man, at entry level. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where the habits start. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you learn anything, or you teach someone something, you need to teach them the correct way. And even if you can go above and beyond and start to instill the habits that they need to be successful and do the job good. Don't teach them fucking bad habits or your shortcuts or any of that stuff. It needs to be, deep dive, in-depth training, and especially with drivers. And me, my driver training school was with the U.S. Army, and I was a trainer in a truck for a little bit. And dude, I'll tell you, man, them new drivers, man, some of the ones I had, I wanted to leave their ass at the truck stop, bro. Literally did. I dropped this one guy off at the Pilot in Baton Rouge because I couldn't. Oh my god, bro, that
Oh
guy came
shit.
in. I swear, I told the company I didn't leave him. But man, he was just an idiot, and I lost my cool. And I yelled at him. I was like, dude, he's like, you are a fucking moron. You do not need to be behind the wheel of a truck. Pull over and get the fuck out of my truck, or out of the driver's seat. And we switched, and he called the company saying I cussed at him and threatened him, and they called me, and I told him exactly what I said. I said, look, this guy's an idiot, man. I said, he just does
Dude.
not. He doesn't understand. I keep telling him the same things over and over again. He just does not live. At night, bro, our trucks were 65 miles an hour. This motherfucker hang out in the hammer lane. Dude, move
Oh
over.
shit.
Get over. He just had bad habits, man. He didn't
That's
swing
dangerous.
wide enough. Man. He liked to cut. Dude, always running over curbs. He would never get out and look, man. I would always tell him, dude, get out and look. Oh, I can see. I was like, dude, I would get out and look right now. I'm telling you to get out and look. Just stupid stuff, man. And anyway, but point is, I dealt with some idiots, and I had some good people. But point is a lot of these driving schools, man, they're not thorough enough. You know what I'm saying? And we've even reported on here about some of these CDL schools giving kickbacks to DOT officers and other and CDL testers that come to their facilities and shit. So yeah, was hoping he'd come on, man, and talk to us.
So let me mention how my CDL school worked. Okay, so when I enrolled in CDL school, I was under the understanding that you're going to learn how to pass an exam to get your license. Now, the DMV exam consists of a pre-trip, your maneuvers, and then a road test. The road test took me down one road, make a right turn, go through a traffic circle, an on-ramp onto the interstate, switch lanes on the interstate once, get an off-ramp off the interstate, turn left over to overpass, turn left back onto the on-ramp down the interstate, head back to the beginning area. On the way back, make an emergency stop. That was it. That was your road test. So my CDL exam was also in a manual 10-speed, day cab with a pup trailer. Okay. So my first day going to work with Western Express and getting in a truck with a trainer. And also on the road test, you have to straight back, parallel park, and offset back. So those are the three maneuvers you got to do. No alley docking. You don't have to know how to bump a dock door. That's not required on your road test. So I already had experience backing trailers because I worked in construction. So I would back up dump trailers. My parents lived on a lake. I grew up on a lake, so we'd back our boat trailer up down the side of the house. I've backed trailers up my whole life. So when I enrolled in the CDL school, it was under the understanding we're going to get you your license. I didn't even have a permit then. I had to do an online class for 2 weeks, and then for 1 week it was 40 hours, an online class for 40 hours, and then my field on the range, they called it the driving range. On the range, I had 2.5 weeks of classes on the range. They were 8 hours a day. So the total amount of time that I had in a truck practicing to pass my road test was a total of 180 hours.
Well, I'm not trying to insinuate that driving school. I'm not trying to insinuate the driving school. You should come out of there and be like a master driver. What I'm saying, and I
no, I'm not saying that either. So
I
then
know.
went to a mega carrier, Western Express, to learn how to drive, right? To drive over the road. That's where everybody starts. You usually don't start at a local job. You usually don't start, you know, regional. You usually start over the road because that's where they want you to run through, different weather and different conditions, different areas, stuff like that, and get experience. When I went over the road with my trainer at Western Express, I was over the road driving for 2.5 weeks before I was in a truck by myself driving across country, 80,000 pound vehicle. So in total, from the time that I started getting my permit to the time that I was over the road driving by myself was maybe 400 hours of driving. But even at CDL school, when you're doing that 180-hour class, you're splitting those hours with other students because every student isn't allowed, a single truck. So there was like 5 of us that were sharing the same truck, practicing our maneuvers. Luckily, the 5 people that I was with, we were all pretty good drivers. We all passed our road test. My brother-in-law was in CDL school at the same time as me. He failed his road test twice. The third time he took his road test, he passed. He had to pay extra money because his GI Bill from being in the Navy didn't cover an additional a third exam. So he had to pay an extra examination fee to use the CDL school's um, equipment to take the test. So
So,
I mean, it's like those puppy mills. Who calls them the puppy mills? Um, TJ, right? TJ, no, Justin Martin calls them puppy mills, right? You're just turning out drivers, 2.5 weeks in a truck.
I, I'm with you, man. I understand. I mean, I understand
That's
all
not
that. I mean, there's a driving school down the road, man. I applied twice to be a to run a driving school, but they wanted to pay me like 50 grand, and I told them to fucking fuck off. But because I'm not doing that.
it's
But
not the
either
driving
way,
school's
full
job to teach you to drive, though. It's the driving school's job to teach
Ryan,
you how to get your license.
I just want to make my point, Ryan. Let me just make my point. Fuck.
Get them all
Uh,
worked up.
I know, man. I know, right? He is, right?
It's
So
not
like,
worked up.
damn
I'm
it,
just telling you
bro.
about my experience.
No, I know, brother, I agree with you 100%. Everything you said, I'm with you. Like, I am not disagreeing with anything that you're saying. You are 1,000% correct. It is to get you. That is what their goal is because these people they want to get you in and out as soon as they can, so they get in the other batch of their new victims and put them through it. Here's what I'm saying though, man. And I'm not like I said, I'm not saying you should come out there and be a good driver because it is that's why you go to training on the road training programs at carriers. You know what I mean? So you put with a trainer like I was. I don't know if you ever had that opportunity, Ryan, but and we as professional experienced drivers, we teach you the final stuff. And hey, this is how the complete operation of the truck over long haul and different terrains and all that stuff works. What I'm saying is I'm a driver, man. I was a driver, and there is no way that while I'm training you, I'm not going to be schooling you additionally on the shit that you know. And what I mean is by habits is, we all know no driver, or I'm gonna say no, very few drivers do a test level pre-trip every single day. But still, you need to keep instilling in them, hey man, this is important and you need, like little things. Oh, hey, man, you do this pre trip, but what I used to do as a driver is when I used to stop somewhere, I'd get out of my truck and I would walk down one side when I went in somewhere and just did a quick looky look. And then when I came back, I looked up the other side, man, because that mid trip stuff's important too. Or, just sharing things with them. When it comes to backing, you know what I mean? It's like, dude, whatever way you want the trailer to go, turn the wheel the opposite way. You know what I mean? Like, just little things, and telling them things. Hey, if your trailer brakes ever get stuck, that's why you need a toolkit. Get you a good ball peen hammer, whatever, get alcohol for in the winter so you can put it in your airlines in case you get frozen. Just what I'm saying is although you're there to just teach them to pass their license, that's their ultimate little goal, they still have time to instill additional knowledge and help them develop the start of good habits as a driver. And that's what I mean. And a lot of these schools, they're exactly what you say, Ryan. They don't do that. They don't give a shit. Most of them are full extra driver or ex drivers, and that's all they do. Teach them the book, teach them the basics, pass their test, and then they they go on with it. Me, so I went through 88 Mike school. I actually wanted to drive a truck before I went to the Army. Sage, you're watching. You know what we're doing, bro. Come on and talk to us instead of commenting, man. We all want to see your pretty face. Anyway, so I was going to be a driver before the Army, and this was back in 2006. I had called Stevens and a few other the big carriers or whatever, but the pay was so low that I wouldn't have been able to support my family on trainer pay. So I was like, all right, whatever, I'll just go in the Army. And I didn't want to be a truck driver then. I just went in at the height of the war when the people that were dying the most were truck drivers and fuelers and anyone that drove a truck, of any kind. So they was like, oh man, we give you a $40,000 bonus if you want to be a truck driver. I'm like, fuck yeah, where do I sign up? I'll take your 40 grand. And but point is I drove in the Army. Driving in the Army is a lot like being a flatbedder. You really don't do a lot of backing. The trailer's there unless you're in a 915, which is a day cab and you're pulling a flatbed trailer, which is usually all you'll pull because it'll have equipment on it. You really don't do anything long. You're mostly driving 5 tons and hets and himmets, and those are like 30 feet long, and then you may have a 20-foot trailer on the back, so it's not really a big deal. But when I got out of the Army, I went and just took the exam myself. Because I called up companies again and was like, oh, hey, man, I want to come drive a truck. I got my stuff from the Army. Can you put me through training? And they said, oh, no, you got to go through school and blase, blase.
Finish.
I went and studied for the test, and I took the written test and passed it on my second go. I think I failed one part of the written test. I can't remember what it was, but the book that I had was like 2 years old, and so that was what it was. It just didn't have the updated thing for like three questions. But anyway, passed the written test, and up in Dallas, there was a company they did it just what you said, Ryan, about how you did your driving test. Dude, they had day cabs, automatics, and they had 36-foot trailers attached to them. And you could rent the truck for like $250, and you could take the driving test up to 3 times. And the guy he took you out on the driving route that you get tested on, and taught you how to do the parallel parking. I mean, he even had tape on the trailer and would say, turn until that tape disappears in the mirror and stop. And it was really great, dude. It was really easy. And I passed my driving test on the first time. Me, I really never pulled trailers or anything. I don't know, just driving a truck and having 53 foot of trailer behind me, I don't know, it was easy. It made sense on the things to do, like fucking swing wide. You know what I mean? Like, turn the opposite way when you're a trailer. Like, I don't know, it just made sense to me. So I was kind of like the same thing as you, man. I think I drove for 3 weeks, and then they put me in a truck on my own, and that's when I was at Lisa Motor Lines. But dude, I don't know, I had a really fantastic trainer, man. Outside of that, I never went to driving school besides, like I said, the Army. And kind of their same thing in the Army is like, dude, we just want to train you on how to fucking drive a truck and blah 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 blah. That's it, and just get you out of AIT and stuff. So but again, the thing is I had a great trainer, and so when I became a trainer as a driver, obviously I took all the stuff that he taught me and that I had learned, and I passed that on to these people. And what surprised me was some of these drivers didn't know half of this stuff, or not half, but a lot of the stuff that I was telling them. You know what I mean? Like when you would give directions, I don't know how it is out there right now, but when I was taught to drive, man, when an exit was, get off at the 393. That's the mile marker, not the fucking highway. You know what I'm saying? I had 2 drivers, dude, that drove for 60 miles past a thing once they had escalated to where we were team driving. And I woke up and I'm like, where the fuck are you? And he's like, oh man, I'm looking for highway whatever. I was like, dude, like 393 was the exit. We've been doing this for a month now. What is wrong with you? So I don't know. Yeah, man. Just didn't
No
seem like
shit, dude.
real quality training and stuff, man. But whatever. There's my little take. I was basically saying I agree with you, but I just still think that there's time to instill habits and drop additional knowledge besides, just teaching someone how to pass a driving test, man. I
So
think we should
there
have.
shouldn't be driving schools, in my opinion. Like when I got my CDL, I got hired onto a company as an employee, and then you were required by them to get your CDL within a certain time frame, whether it be like a year, 2 years, or whatever. But you could go get a learner's permit. You get a learner's permit to learn how to drive a truck with that company. I had a learner's permit for I don't remember how long I had it. I think you could renew it back then, and I think I renewed mine twice. But I took my time. I learned to drive with the company, and then went and took my test and passed, and so forth and so forth. But at least be able to get a learner's permit, go start learning and ride with somebody for however long it takes. You may have to put a time limit on it for a company because they obviously don't want to pay for you to be a trainee for forever.
No, I've heard of people doing it that way with certain companies, man. And I don't know. I was fortunate with mine. I had actually got my CDL, but the first company I worked with, like it was pretty much the same again, man. I never really went through an authentic driving school, and I kind of went through that and on the road training at the same time. But um, I don't know. In a way, I agree with you. Like it's one of those things I see the point of having them because a lot of carriers, even mega carriers, man, like they can't afford, well, I say they can't afford, they don't want to, or maybe can't afford to have, internal driving schools. Some of them used to. I don't know if, Swift or CR, any of them still do that, but they used to have that stuff. And I personally feel that that's where we should go at as an industry is, these carriers have these large enough carriers having their own driving schools and putting these drivers through it because, like Ryan had said, man, there wasn't enough trucks. Like you had 5 people sharing a truck, in a company large enough, they'd be able to put maybe 2 people to a truck, have a total of 5 instructors and a class of 20 people at a time. You know what I mean? To keep that instructor, student ratio down and shit. So, I'm with you. Plus, you can be able to learn a lot more. I think on site and actual carrier. Here's the problem with that though is a lot of those carriers they take advantage of these guys, man. Like I'm so glad I never went through a driving school, and even if I did, I had the GI Bill would have paid for it. But I mean, everyone, I don't know, Hunter, you probably know too, man. But like these bigger companies, man, Swift and CR and Stevens and all this, they'll pay for your driving school and then lock you into a contract for a year and fucking pay you 22 cents a mile or $800 a week, and then they work you like a freaking a dog, a freaking, it's absolutely crazy. And you struggle for a year and then it puts a bad taste in drivers' mouths. And then there's like, hell, this is my first experience in the industry and this is what I got to deal with. I don't know if I want to do this crap anymore. And then, there comes the, driver shortage thing, because they a lot of turnover and shit. So I don't know, that lack of training and proper instruction, man, I think it kind of snowballs. And,
You have a
there's a lot
strong
of,
point there.
yeah,
You have a strong point there, Pedro.
I appreciate it, bro. I try, man. I try. When it comes to driving, dude, like I know I'm a broker and that's what I'm known for now, but tell you, man, like my passion, dude, is driving and drivers, bro. Like I've
Yeah.
said it many times, there is nothing like being behind the wheel of a fucking big truck, dude. Nothing like it, man. Nothing. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure there's other things that that others feel the same about, but I don't know,
That,
dude. I
that's
would
that's
never.
that's how I feel about my big women, brother. I'm with you.
Oh my jeez, little guy. Oh my lord, this fucking guy here. I love
You
you,
do
buddy.
got a good point there, though, Rob. But I mean, like, honestly, $800 a week isn't as bad as like I don't know. Ryan started working for Western Express, and he said he was making what, like 30 cents a mile,
Dude,
and
Dude,
that's
I'm
like
that's
not
not
even
slave
even throwing
counting
the
wage.
five
number
hundred
out
dollars
there.
a week, dude. And that's
That's
insane.
slave wage, dude. I'm sorry.
Yeah, dude.
No,
Like,
I
for as
mean, it,
important of a job as that is, and like as risky as a job as that is, like it's like anything, man. If you don't pay your employees, like what they're worth, like they're not gonna give a shit about their job.
I,
So like within
I
that,
told you, man.
I
when
just,
when when I started, dude, I started at 32 cents a mile, And as a trainee, this was in 2008. 2008. I started as a trainee late 2008, and I made 32 cents a mile. And then I actually got a 2 cent bonus because I was a veteran, which I don't think any company does that stuff anymore, dude. Back in the day, in the height of the war, if you were a veteran, like they'd give you bonuses per mile. But I used to run 3,000 to 3,500 miles a week. So even back then, dude, I was pulling 1,000 plus gross a week. You know what I mean? And I had a nice truck. I was home every other weekend. I had no issues. And then I went to night refrigerator, dude, and I was making 38 cents a mile. And I was running like 3,500 plus miles a week, dude, making like 1,400. So 800 doesn't sound like a lot, but dude, like the mileage paid now is 50 cents or higher as far as I know. I believe it, like the lowest you find is like 50 cents. So, I mean, dude, if I was killing it as a trainee back then that's nuts. What I'm saying is a lot of these companies they'll hire these guys like Warner. I don't know if they stepped theirs up, dude. I had 3 years experience, and I had called Warner about like a dedicated deal they had out of our area and offered all these bonuses. And then when they told me what the pay was, I saw why they offered the bonus. It was like 29 cents a mile. I was like, dude, I got 3 years experience, bro. Accident free. Dude, I could go somewhere and make like 40 cents a mile. Are you kidding me? So yeah,
Go work for
that's
JB Rhodes and haul under that authority, then you can pull them Warner trailers.
I don't know if they had that stuff back then, but I was always a company driver, man. Like I said, I don't know. I got into it, man, in the height of the recession back in the 2000s, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just like it is now. There were people going out of fucking business. Dude, gas was over $4 a gallon. Diesel
I
was
remember
like
that, dude. I remember that
bro.
back when, like, what was it, like 07, 08?
Yeah, like 07 to 09, dude. I mean, drivers are doing 55 miles an hour like it
Oh,
was
that's when the
80s.
fuel shortage was going on too, wasn't it?
Yeah, because a lot of the fuel was
The
going
recession.
over to support
Yeah,
the war
that shit
effort.
was wild, dude. I remember that, like,
Yeah, dude.
like
That's
having to drive around
market.
town and there'd just be lines, like lines of cars just waiting to get gas, and dude, it was warfare out there. I remember one time, dude, I was with my pops and we were pulling in this gas station. There was just an open spot, and nobody was taking it, so we just went around and pulled in, and dude, people were raising hell. Like, I'm surprised, it didn't escalate, but yeah, I mean, shit, if you can make it in the tough times, like, just be smart about it. I feel like a lot of these drivers do, just see some sort of opportunity, don't do their research. I mean, it's like getting a job anywhere, like, understand, like, what's going on in the background, do a little research, ask around. Like, don't just dive into something, because being locked into a freaking contract with the carrier and you can't leave to pay
But
that CDL school off,
yeah,
like, that's
that's
nuts.
why they do it,
And
bro.
I mean, what's the cost on that?
I think I don't know, maybe like 7, 8 grand, something like that. Now, Josh, what are we gonna say, bro? Before you forget.
No, I wasn't gonna say nothing, dude.
Yeah, you were. You tried saying something, but Hunter was talking.
No. My internet's really fucked up.
Oh, okay. Ryan, hold on,
Yeah,
man.
I'm
That's
sending it
Ryan.
to him right now.
Okay, all right, cool, thanks. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's like 7, 8, 9, 10 grand. If anyone's out there watching, you know what driving school cost, let me know. Freaking pop a comment out there. I'm gonna try to look it up and tell you. But yeah, that's what it is, man. They
Hey,
lock
this is a true story. I'm a CD.
Can't
Man, we
hear you,
lost.
Josh. We lost you, bro. I'm looking up right now, dude.
What's this going
Whoo!
on?
I love it. It says the big guys pay crap per mile to new guys and charge a shipper. Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah. Yeah, crazy, dude. I'll say that as far as like the detention times, the detention pay now, it really has not changed since like 2009, bro. As a company driver, I was getting like $25 a fucking hour in detention. How crazy is that?
I don't know,
And
man.
yeah,
I mean, on detention though, I feel like it's such like I don't know. It's like dealer's choice. Like, what the shipper or receiver's willing to pay is like what you get.
it is. No, I'm not.
Because you
I'm
got
not
some
blaming.
people that are like good with it, and they'll pay you like, I don't even know what the standard is, like $45 an hour, $50 an hour. But then you got other shippers that are like $20 an hour after
No.
2 hours. Like,
I'm not blaming the broker or anybody. I mean, to be honest with you, man, when it comes to everything with price in this industry, it's the fucking shipper who sets it. And the shipper has been paying whatever, $50 or 75 at the most, maybe 100 if it's a special case for detention. they see no reason to just freely give up more money, so they're not going to. But anyway,
Well, I don't think that they understand. Like that driver sits, he's burning hours.
they
He's
don't care,
burning his
bro.
service time. And then they wonder why it doesn't show up.
They
They
don't
wonder
care.
why it doesn't show up on time. Hey,
You know
man,
they don't
if
care.
you would have loaded my
Van,
freaking driver, he could have sat and got his hours back.
I'm with you, dude. I'm with you. Van said that it was four Gs back in 04. Van, I believe that. I'm reading right now. CDL training in Texas. I love Google sometime. Ranges from free to $10,000.
Where's that free school at, man? We can get them on.
Not 7,500 to 10 grand. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Free to 10,000. It's like, golly, bro. Like, you know, I didn't. I need an actual.
Yeah, I'm about to look this up. Free
Well, there's
CDL
city colleges in some counties in shit in
Dude,
Illinois that fucking
you're
they have free CDL courses.
yeah, man. There's some here that matter of fact, there's a driving school
What the hell?
right down the street from me, man, and the community college does it. I'll tell you, I say this to anyone who wants to get in this industry, whether it's a broker or a driver. Those are the only two things I really can talk on. But is go to a fucking college, man, a community college, and get your CDL there because
Tennessee has a school just like that, man. Because I was pulling off of Briley and I saw a truck, and I follow them on Twitter now. But it's like they literally focus on getting kids like in community colleges, and
yeah,
I mean you can
their
get scholarships for that, man.
their
You can get scholarships
program
for that.
their programs are longer, you know, and they don't have the complete same word escapes me, but it's not like Ryan was saying about the private driving schools where a lot of them are just about pup or as
The puppy mills,
Jason
isn't that what they call them? The puppy
puppy
mills.
mills. There you go, puppy mills. That's what I was about to say, man. Those colleges, you know what I mean? Like I can't say for all of them, but at least the ones I've talked about or have had experience with, they hire good quality former drivers, and they're already making great money as a school anyway. So like this is just
Yeah.
another way for them to make money. And those courses, I think the one up here is like 8 or 10 weeks. You know what I mean? Like it's a good amount of instruction that they do. And here in our little area, man, we got some pretty good little stuff to drive on. You know, speed limits are 75. You got really good traffic going up and down 35. You got some pretty decent inclines and stuff. We got one here that we call Nolanville Hill, and I don't know, it's probably a 6% grade for about a half a mile. Not a lot, but it's really good to teach a driver how to use a Jake brake in a Johnson bar versus holding your brakes and shit going down. Dell, I see your comment out, your long comment. I'm about to get to it. So, freight broker, same thing. Do not go to some stupid online class. Don't be an idiot. I mean, I hate to say it. I'm not trying to be mean about teachers, but when it comes to this industry, those who can't do teach. When it comes to like freight brokering and dispatching and driver training, like that's what they do. Those who can't do, they teach. Because if they were so fucking successful in it, you know what I mean? Like, that they themselves wouldn't be having time to teach you anything. So
I
go to
agree,
college, man.
100%.
Yeah, dude, they have freight broker courses, man. They're like a year long, 2 semesters, not a complete year, but you know what I mean? Like, and
Just
they're
join
good
a
stuff.
brokerage. Fuck that.
Yes. What
Learn
you say,
that
Josh?
shit.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. It's exactly, dude. So, and I'll get on the community college thing. Dale, you're right, man. They have to be accredited and they have to have, they have more credibility. In Texas, a lot of these driving schools, they get sign up through the Texas Workforce Commission, and they're pretty serious about their stuff. Like you have to be accredited. You have to have like a teaching plan or a schooling plan. They do inspections. So, I mean, I'm not saying there's not some that don't skirt through, because if they don't go with the Texas Workforce Commission, you know what I mean, then they probably don't have to do a lot of stuff. But that's why I say it, Dell, is because those community colleges, they do, man. They want to put out good stuff because they want you to send people to them, and they want to have a good name in what they do. Just like certain colleges are known for being the best medical schools and the best engineering schools and shit like that. So I'm with you. Van, very glad that you agree. Let me pop up Dale's fucking news article here. We love you, Dale. We are the only industry that allows the customer to write the contract. 100% true. And that's where we went wrong. I don't get to dictate my attorney how much he's charging me per hour. I don't tell Verizon what I'm going to pay them if I ever go over my minutes. How can brokers write the contract? Man, we can't, dude. Like, we really can't. You're so right, man. I think that all carriers should band together and come up with a contract and hold brokers to it. I'm a broker, and that's my opinion. I mean, I could see that, Dale. I agree with you on that. There should be something, but you and I both know that they're going to try to take advantage of it, man. Just like a lot of the brokers out there try to take advantage of it, and that's the problem. You know what I mean? For all the honesty and integrity we preach in this industry, there's fucking very, very little of it, man. I mean, there really is. Nobody out there can disagree with that, man. Everyone is, as they say, smile to your face and, talk shit behind your back. You know what I mean? That's really the way. That's really the kind of the trend in this industry. Not trying to, say anything bad about everybody. I'm just, generalizing, but we all know it's true. There's a lot of stuff, but
not
I'm
to
with
be
you,
a pessimist, but you're right.
Yeah, dude. Hey, I'm sorry, man. I'll say,
That's the
man,
reality.
I am a pessimist, dude. I'm a pessimistic optimist. I'd rather think and plan for the worst and hope for the best. And
right.
and I honestly, what I call that is a realist. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't, I
You live
see
in
bullshit.
reality. That's right,
Yeah, dude.
Pedro.
And dude, anything can go wrong with anything, dude. You think you could have something on lock, and all it takes is the wrong stroke of a pen and a wording get messed up, or someone not do one step, and all that planning, all that anticipation, all of that right down the shitter. You know what I mean? So I don't say that's a negative person. I say that as, again, it's good to set your hopes high and set your goals high, but you have to ground yourself and be realistic in certain instances. In this industry,
That's why.
definitely
That's
one of
why anytime I'm in logistics, I under promise and over deliver, man. Never never over
the
promise
other
to
way.
under deliver.
I guess
Yeah,
the
you
other
get
way.
it right. Yeah. I like to.
I'm pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, Adam says carriers can come up with any contract they want. Doesn't mean brokers have to sign it. Agree. I'm with you. I'm with Adam. I actually, when I was, I helped two friends set up their carrier, their being a carrier, man, and I had experience as a broker in a sense when was working at another job as a transportation supervisor. So we used to have a carrier contract when we had a contract with DHL, UPS, and the USPS, and we had a contract that we sent to them and said, "Listen, all of your stuff is great, but these are the things that we need you to do for us to ensure that we're going to do the things you want us to do for you." And they signed it. But the company I worked for, they had a really great reputation. They had been doing it for a really long time, and so FedEx, UPS, and USPS, or DHL, I'm sorry, just signed it every time because they knew we were going to take care of business. But my point is those two friends I helped set up, I had told them, man, go to an attorney and get yourself a carrier broker agreement. There's broker carrier agreements, there's broker shipper agreements, there's carrier shipper agreements. But I was like, go get yourself a carrier broker agreement. And when you send out your packet, you send that carrier broker agreement with it. I will say this. I had not been a real broker long enough to understand that brokers don't give a fuck. Like, they're just like, okay, cool, dude. Hey, I'm not signing that, but you can sign mine, and either we can do business under my terms or whatever it is. And so, there was that. But again, it's Adam is right, man. And it's same thing with shippers, man. I've had shippers, I've sent them a contract, our broker shipper thing, and they'll come back and redline stuff.
Oh, hell yeah, the red line.
Yeah, but don't you do that to them. You better fucking not.
No shipper. No way. Especially your enterprise shipper, dude. Enterprise shipper is like you stick. They just give it. They give it to you without jelly. Enterprise shippers, dude, you got to go to their terms. There's no MD. Like it's not mutual. It's one way.
It is 1,000%. That's what I'm saying.
Kyle's right with those tankers, though. That's tankers get paid round trip, bro. No matter if they're doing round trip or not, they get paid round trip mileage. That shit.
I mean, I don't know. I never pulled tanker. I can believe it, but I'm just talking about like traditional. We should get Fred. We can get Fred on. He can tell us about that.
Yeah, Fred will tell you gets paid round trip. Same with Taylor. Taylor and Terry drive tanker. But
that's right. That's right. They sure do. I forgot about that.
Before I had to jump off, I wanted to talk about that CDL training and how like predatory it really is. So you had mentioned something about team driving with the trainee, right? So that's how it was at Western, right? You were team driving with your trainer. So the trainee is getting paid. I was getting paid $75 a day as a trainee. Even though I was a licensed CDL driver, I still had to do the trainee thing. I was getting paid $75 a day to run that truck. The trainer gets paid by the mileage that I run. So there's no incentive for the trainer to do a good job. You know, the trainer just gets paid for the mileage that I run plus the mileage that he runs. And if it's a short trip, he'll just make me run all the miles. And he'll just sit in the bunk in the sleeper the whole time. Like the first day of me driving a truck, so the trainer picked me up from a hotel room, right? I was at the terminal for Western Express in Bethlehem, PA. I was staying at a red roofing cockroach hotel that they paid for. The first day I went there, so I left on a Sunday, and I had to be there Monday morning for orientation. So I drove. They were like, "Oh, we're getting you a bus ticket." I'm like, "Oh, all right. I'm a grown ass man. I'm not driving on no bus." I said, "I'm gonna get a rental car." So I took the rental car, drove down there, dropped it off at the airport right there in Bethlehem, PA. Took an Uber over to the hotel, checked into the hotel, and I brought my bag, one bag with me, and that was supposed to last me for the next 6 weeks that I was going to be out on the road or whatever, how long they said the training was. I think they said pack for 3 weeks. So I go to orientation. They give me for breakfast. They give me a brown paper bag with a granola bar, kindergarten sized chocolate milk in a container, and an apple. And an apple.
Shit.
That's what I got for breakfast: a granola bar, chocolate milk, and an apple. Okay,
it could be worse, dude. First world problem. It could be worse, dude. Okay? It could be worse.
For lunch, there's a coach roach that pulls up outside the terminal, and that's your lunch. So the first day for 2 hours, they talk about, oh, did you bring your paperwork? We need your I didn't have my actual driver's license yet because I had just passed the road test, so I only had the paper copy of it. So I had to bring my cab card, my paper license, and my my permit, my physical permit that had my picture on it. So they had to have all those. They took a copy of them, whatever. This is not a paid orientation. I'm not being paid for this. They send you back to the hotel. They tell you, we'll call you. We went into the room, pissed in a cup, whatever. They said, you're going to go to this website. You're going to watch all these training videos. We'll call you when your drug test is all set. So they called me. They said, hey, drug test is all set. We're going to assign you a trainer. We just got to know, like, do you smoke? Do you do this? Do you do that? Do you want to, are you racist? Whatever. So they could try to match you up with somebody who's kind of, so I'm like, what the fuck is all this shit, right? So I get teamed up with a black guy from Georgia, very nice guy. His name is I still talk to him to this day. My trainer, he's a cool dude. Big Joe Biden supporter. He's a nice guy though. He's from Georgia. So our first pickup is from someplace over in the Easton area, and it was going to Lowe's down in Savannah, Georgia, Lowe's distribution center down there. So it's Friday. So we go to pick up the load. We had brought an empty in. We were picking up a loaded, and we were out dropping hook. So I alley docked that trailer back in, blah, blah, blah. Hook up to my trailer. He's like, that's the best first alley dock I've ever seen a driver do. He's like, you're pretty good. Let's go, hit the road. I'm like, man, those tandems are all the way to the back. I said, we got to slide them forward. He's like, oh, man, good catch. So we go to slide the tandems. They won't slide. they're stuck, they're broken, there's something wrong with them. They don't slide. This is the first time I've ever had to slide tandem, so I don't know how to fix it. He's like, oh, I don't know what to do. Let's just go. It's a light load. It was only like 9,000 pounds because like there's no way we're overweight. Just go. So we run down to Sadler's Truck Stop in Emporia, VA, and that's where we stop for the night. And this guy doesn't idle his truck. This is September. We're in September, beginning of September. This guy doesn't idle his truck. We're in Emporia, VA, which is right before the North Carolina line, middle of September. I said, man, you gotta turn the AC on in this truck. He's like, nah, we don't idle the truck. I pay for the fuel. I'm a lease purchase driver. I'm not idling my truck. I said, man, I can't sleep. It's too fucking hot in here. I'm going to get a hotel room. So I walked across the street. I got a hotel room. He's like, all right, our delivery is at such and such time. Make sure you're here at the truck at 4 a.m. so we can get out of here. Sorry, dad duties. So I was like, all right, perfect. I was like, no problem. I said, I'll be here at 4 a.m. We'll do our pre-trip. We'll get out of here. Load will be on time, right? So I would get up at 4 a.m. I go and I get to the truck because I was at the hotel across the street. I walk over to the truck. This dude is snoring still. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? I sat on the deer guard out front of the truck. I was like, you know what? We didn't really need to leave at 4 because I'm looking at Google Maps on where we're going and stuff like that. I'm like, we got time. I said, I'll give him an hour to, wake up on his own. So I sat on the deer guard on the front of the truck and I waited an hour, just hung out. It was a nice day, good, crisp morning. So I'll just chill here. So,
Good, Ryan.
So leave Riley alone. Kennedy, it's fine. Leave it alone. The board is fine. Leave it alone.
Just so the audience knows, Ryan has about 12 to 15 kids at home.
Ryan runs an orphanage.
Yeah, he does.
So sitting on the deer guard, nice morning. I was like, you know what? I said, we got time. We don't need to leave right away. I said, I'll just let him sleep. So come 5 o'clock, I bang on the door. I'm like, yo, what's up? Because I don't have a key to get in the truck. He's got the truck locked. I said, I bang on the door. I'm like, yo, what's up? And he's like, oh, man, I overslept, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this ain't my problem. 12, he's got 15 more. Doesn't know about.
I love Kyle, dude.
I did spend 2 months in Bolivia. I might have some kids in Bolivia.
Shit.
Yeah.
We head out down to Savannah, Georgia. I-95 is closed. We have to get off the I-95 and go down US 1. Going down US 1, the tandems are still all the way back, right? We didn't get them to move. We're going down US 1. This is my second day driving a truck now over, on the road, right? Trooper sitting in the middle lane of the turning lane. Motherfucker turned around, flipped the bitch, pulled us over.
You're fucked, Ryan. Yep.
Yeah, so I got a ticket, right? I got a ticket for being over length. He measured from the king to the.
How TJ feels about tandems in the back, dude.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that this guy, instead of calling, so this happens all the time in any fleet. You got drivers who won't report broken equipment because they don't want to be down and wait for roadside or wait for service to come to fix it. They'll just run it. And this was one of those cases. He was like, I'm not sitting around waiting for roadside. I'm not waiting for dispatch to give us a new load. I'm not waiting for all this stuff to happen. I need to make money, right? And that's the problem with that. When you're a company driver, you have that mentality of I need to make money, I need to make money, I need to make money. The safest drivers on the road are drivers who get paid by the hour. Those are the safest drivers on the road because there's no incentive to drive unsafe, to drive fast, There's no incentive to do any of that. There's actually more incentive to be safe than it is to be, than it is to, anything, right? There's more incentive to be safe than there is to be unsafe. So drivers who get paid by the hour that's how it should be. It should be drivers get paid by the hour, because it's and this training thing with the team driving is just it's such BS that you have a trainee who gets paid $75 a day driving an 11-hour clock. Yeah, safest and slowest, baby. That's the way to go. The turtle wins the race.
Just everyone in this world has worked on hourly pay, even me. And what it comes down to is, obviously, the longer you're on the clock, the more money you're going to make. So why fucking rush? Like, I wouldn't. I mean, I don't know. I really don't care how drivers get paid. It ain't really my concern. I'm not about it. But I mean, I'm just being funny. I mean, fuck, if I get paid by the hour, I'd take my sweet ass time too. I'd be driving 10 miles on the fucking speed limit. Like,
but
you're damn right, I'd be the safest driver on the road, man.
What does that do for the fleet now, right? It increases fuel economy, right? It increases fuel economy, which is less money in fuel, because your trucks are running more efficient, so you're getting more money to the bottom line. It makes your driver happier because there's no rush to get anywhere. And then there's less claims on the insurance. There's less accidents.
I mean that is a very vague. I wouldn't say vague. That's a generalization, Ryan. Like, I agree with like the point you're making in a sense, but yeah, all of that is true. But it also comes down to wages, and the two biggest things that are.
Let's talk wages. Ready? Let's talk wages.
I just looked it up. You pay a driver $25 an hour, which is the average that an hourly driver makes right now. I am pretty confident on that because I read an article not too long ago talking about driver wages and shit. So $25 times 70 hours a week is $1,750 a week. That's what you'll pay a driver. Okay. The point with that though is they're not going to let you work that. Okay, let's use California as an example right now. They put $20 minimum wage. So what did everybody do? They cut their fucking hours. So what the probable thing is they're going to have fewer drivers, so they pay out less wages, and then it's going to cause stress because they're going to be pressuring drivers that there's a lot to do, and they need to keep up with demand and customer success and all these things. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying there's also a complete flip side to this, and I know people who have experienced exactly what I'm saying.
So $20 an hour, okay? At 65 miles per hour, at 50 cents per mile, how much is that?
Let me pull my calculator up. But I mean, I don't know what mile per hour really has to come into it, but I mean,
because miles per hour makes your pay for an hour. 65 miles per hour.
Dude, no, but a company's going to want you to max your clock out a day. Like, that's what they're going to want to do. So they're going to put you at.
I mean, you worked for an hourly company. You Performance Food Group, right? You got paid hourly, right?
No. No, they were not. So Performance Food Group pays you mile, stop, and piece count, I think, or it was weight. They paid you three different ways, and then McLean paid you miles, stopped, and piece count of weight. Well, one of them was piece count.
You did over the road for Performance Food Group then?
Nope. I did local.
You did local home every night?
I made so much money at Performance Food Group, bro.
You were home every night?
Huh? Yep.
You were home every night?
Every night.
So Cisco here, I don't know how Performance Food Group works, but Cisco, they pay hourly. US Foods, they pay hourly.
Because they're union up there. That's why.
Yeah. So
exactly. That's why I say that.
Like Central Transport, they pay hourly. But they pay
must be a different Central Transport.
They pay hourly pay. So Central Transport pays you miles per hour, but they also pay hourly because you work the dock at your stop. So if you do the math at 65 miles per hour times 50 cents, right? 50 cents a mile, you're making $32.50 an hour. So you're actually making less money on an hourly wage of $25 an hour.
Right, I'm just telling you what the average is, man. I'm not talking about fucking
No,
the union nirvana that is the Northeast. That is just
no,
not.
I'm not saying
not the
union.
norm across the United States. Is all I'm saying.
I'm not trying to argue with you at all.
I'm
trying to do, I'm not trying to make a point. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just putting out information. No, you think that I am, but I'm not. What I'm saying is that when you're a driver trainee and you're paying a trainer what your trainee's miles are, and I'm getting paid $75 for a day to run 11 hours on a clock, that's insane. That's not even
if that's your point, I'm 1,000% with you, bro. Like I agree with you.
So now this is what my pay was when I finished training. My pay was 31 cents per mile. I have a pay stub to show. I made 31 cents a mile. Now at Western Express.
Right. When did you start driving again, bro?
This was back in 2015.
Okay, dang, really? You were still at 30 cents a mile? That's crazy.
31 cents a mile. 31 cents a mile, right? And our trucks were governed at 63 on the pedal, 66 on cruise control.
That's
so
how
31 cents per mile times 63 miles an hour, right? My minimum wage, the maximum amount of money that I can make is $19.53 an hour. I'll go work at McDonald's and make that as a key holder. You know what I mean? I don't even have to be a burger flipper. I could be a key holder, a shift manager, and make that money. You know what I mean? So so this goes back to why are these mega carriers paying wages that are so low and promising that these guys are going to make, the recruiters are telling these guys that they're going to make $100,000 a year. Yeah. How do you make $100,000 a year at $19.53 an hour?
I don't know. When my best year at McLean, I made, I think 92, I believe, was my best year. And that was working well over 70 hours a week because everything at McLean was team driving. And dude, an average day there, unless you went local within like a 100-mile radius, the average day there was like an 18-hour day. Both drivers maxed their clock out. Now, you only work 3 days a week, you know what I mean? But it's because they worked you so hard. Even if you had hours, you were a danger at that point. You know what I mean? So, but either way it goes, yeah, that was bad. I left there in 2015, and dude, I busted my ass to make that much money. Now, I will say this, that the only time we got paid by the hour at McLean was when you got vacation or they paid you out for vacation. And I can't remember how they did it, but I remember my hourly wage for vacation and shit was like $33.50. Dude, there were times where, dude, times where I got paid more to take vacation than I did to work a full week. That was how crazy that was, man.
Bro, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane. Like for it's, you have to start somewhere, right? And I understand paying your dues and all that stuff, but it's insane. The people who are doing this the wrong way are the reason why these drivers are so unsafe, and the speed limiters and all that stuff plays into this too, right? So you can push for the speed limit, you can do all that. Most of these trucks already have speed limiters because they want the drivers to run at a maximum fuel efficiency, right? And still be at like a decent highway speed. So 63, 66, right? Swift does the same thing. They're all the same. So there's no way that there's no way you're going to make $100K a year as a company driver for those companies. So what they do is they push them into a lease purchase. And they're going to make more money. Well, now you're a 1099 driver, so you're making this money, but you're not saving any of it to pay taxes. So then when you go file taxes at the end of the year, you haven't paid a nickel. And you go file your taxes, and they're like, yeah, you owe us this much. And they have 7 kids at home, and they're like, oh, I'm not going to have to pay. I'm going to get a refund. Well, you can't get a refund if you didn't pay in. The whole reason why you get a refund is because you paid too much in. That's why you get a refund.
I agree, man, with every part of that, Ryan. You're right. And like I said, I said this a little bit. I think you heard it, man. When I started, I was at 32 cents a mile, man. You know what I mean? And I was under a trainee. I think my trainer made 40 cents a mile. He'd been in the company like 3 years though. So, but either way, man. I mean, you know, when I left, I don't even remember what I was making at last company I left. I think I was 50 cents a mile. I ran a dedicated deal. So like once I figured out what my pay was every week, then like I really didn't give a shit about my per mile. But so yeah, I mean, I'm with you, dude, that especially that lease purchase thing. The first company I worked with, they were a subsidiary of FFE, and then FFE took them back over after they had a driver kill a family in a minivan, and he was fucking high on meth and had been up for like 3 days. And the lawsuit,
that's another story. I could
yeah,
go into that
the
too.
lawsuit. Well, the guy, believe it or not, he was a veteran driver, man. He was not a new driver. He had been on the road for a while. It took a while for his bad behavior and his bad habits to catch up with him. You know what I'm saying?
Most of the meth heads and crackhead drivers been out there for a long time.
Yeah,
but
the
thing with meth and cocaine and crack is it's only in your system for 3 days.
Yeah, that's true. But
they pass the randoms all the time.
Yeah, exactly, man. And I mean, you know, I'm not.
But if you smoke a joint, it's out of your system. It's out of your system. You're completely sober in 3 hours. Right? You smoke one joint, it's out of your system 3 hours. You ain't high no more. You could pass a sobriety test easy, but it's still in your system for 30 days. So I could smoke crack, do meth, and snort cocaine, and get blackout drunk every night, and be a CDL driver, but I cannot smoke a joint.
So what I was saying is when that happened, the lawsuit was so big that the insurance company dropped the company I work for. It's called Lisa Motor Lines. And so when FFE, you know, would say, hey, we'll just absorb all the drivers, you know, blase. And when they did, they really didn't have enough trucks to pull all the drivers over there, like company trucks. So they really pushed hard this lease purchase thing. And that was the first time that I almost went, I guess I wouldn't say owner operator, but owner operator. You know what I mean? That was the first I almost did it. And luckily my trainer was like, dude, don't fucking do that. Like, you have not been doing this long enough. You do not understand enough to be sinking yourself into buying a truck. And as awesome as Night Refrigerated was to me, Night Transportation, I never had a problem with them. I'm one of maybe a few, I don't know, that I have nothing but good things to say about that company. But they pushed the lease purchase stuff. I actually ran a Lay's account for an entire season, potato season. We ran it out of South Texas, Poteet, which is actually known for strawberries. How funny is that? Poteet, Texas to Denver. But the guy I ran with, his name was Sean, dude. He had bought a Kenworth, and I still love the way these trucks look. I do not know why. A Kenworth T2000 is what he got from Night. And he was exactly what you said, Ryan. The dude had been a company driver for like 2.5 years, you know, didn't understand being a business owner, because that's what owning or being a lease purchase is. You're a business owner. You are 1099. You need to have an LLC, self-insurance, you know, all of these things to cover your butt. And he didn't do any of that. Dude was pulling in several $1,000s a week, blowing it on everything. I think he lasted like a year and a half. And Knight repoed his truck, and then they fired him. Which I kind of thought was fucked up. I was like, dude, why don't they just put in a company truck? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, at least still make money off you, since they lost money.
So with me, after I saw, I was making 31 cents a mile. I said, fuck this. I'm not being a company driver at 31 cents a mile. I said, I'm going lease purchase. So they sent me, they routed me back to Nashville to pick up a lease purchase truck, because that's where the leasing place is. And Hunter probably has drove past this terminal before, Western Express's terminal in Nashville. They got a big brand new building, and right next to it, they got a double wide trailer. So the double wide trailer is the leasing office, because that freedom to leasing thing that Anil was talking about earlier, they had to start a new company to lease the trucks. So they got a double wide trailer and put it right next to their office. That's a separate company, but they have the same address. So you lease the truck from them. I forget what they call the company, but I could pull up the contract. I have it in my email. So I left that terminal without actually signing the contract because I actually read through it and I didn't agree to the terms. And I pulled out of the terminal and I went and got a load and I started hauling freight. So I was doing that for like a month, and they're like, "Hey, you need to sign this lease contract." And I was like, "No, you need to amend it." I said, "I don't agree to the terms." I said, "You need to amend the contract." And they said, "Well, we're not amending you. We're not amending the contract, right?" So I was like, "Okay, whatever." And my dispatcher, he like gave me a couple days to do it, to sign it, and I wasn't signing it. So first, I was under a load dispatched for them, right? And they shut off my fuel card. My fuel card wasn't working. I went to go get fuel. My fuel card wasn't working. I'm like, oh shit, what the hell's going on here, right? So I called them up. I'm like, yo, what's up? My fuel card's not working. He's like, yeah, I know. We need you to sign that lease purchase agreement. And I was like, well, I need you to amend it. And he's like, no, that's not how this works. You need to sign it. And I'm like, well, I'm not signing something I don't agree to. And they're like, well, all right, well, I'll get your fuel card turned back on. Go get that load delivered. So I went and delivered the load. I had to sign POD and everything. And I go, hey, I need another load. And they're like, hey, we're not dispatching you until you sign that lease purchase agreement. And I was like, okay, cool. And they're like, send us over that POD so we can get you paid for it. I'm like, yeah, fuck yourselves. I said, I'm not sending you the POD until you amend the lease purchase agreement, then I'll sign it. And they're like, well, we're not dispatching you. I'm down in South Carolina somewhere on I-20 or I-40. I don't remember what interstate it was, but down there on an interstate at a pilot or a Flying J, one of those, and there's cotton field next to me, and I told them, I said, I'm not signing that thing.
She is Berlin. Listen to me, damn you.
Daddy, take my hair clip out.
Oh, okay, all right. You better, yeah, man.
So important.
A+ for patience, though.
I had to get that done. Had to get that hair clip out of there. It needed to be done. So if they're trying, you know they're alive. That's a good thing.
If they're quiet, you need to worry.
Yeah, she's just building her lung capacity. That's what that is. It's encouraged to let your kids cry. Don't worry. My wife is in school to be a doctor. We've done a lot of studies on this. It'll be okay.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, there's a lot of things in the industry that need to change as far as the carrier side, and you could talk about them all day, but until people like actually read what they're signing, none of this stuff is going to go away. You're always going to have these big mega carriers that are just taking advantage of people and selling them a dream. And the sad thing is that I've met really nice people when I was at these hotels for Western Express, and I actually have a group on Facebook that's called Western Express, the Cold Hard Truth. And bro, if I told you some of these stories about these drivers, you'd be like, you are crazy. Like, you're crazy. Like, the things that these companies put these people through is absolutely insane. But they're trying to escape. Like, they're trying to escape this horrible life and better themselves, and they're just being held down by this bullshit.
Here's a crazy one I ran across, dude, and and I still remember where I was delivering. I was delivering in the caves in Springfield, Missouri. I had backed up the dog, so night refrigerated, and a CR England truck back up next to me, and it was right after the fucking Transformers movie came out, and CR England had bought all those Western stars, dude. You know what I mean? For like owner operators and lease ops. And that guy had one, so we were talking about it and stuff. And
5700X. That's
yeah,
Optimus Prime. Yeah,
dude, those things were so like I was so cool. I never like I'd seen it, but I never had a chance to like talk to someone. So him and I started shooting the shit, and he was a lease purchase operator. And through the conversation, he's telling me everything. Because again, like I was still thinking about trying to own my truck. I was like, dude, I know that that's the goal I need to shoot towards if I'm going to make the type of money and be in charge the way that I want to be in charge. So I talked to owner operators and lease operators and stuff, man, while I was out there. But anyway, he leased this truck from CR England. Obviously paid all the bills for it. The truck payment, paid for the fuel, the insurance, everything. And his truck was still fucking covered at 63 miles an hour. I was like, there ain't no fucking way you were going to tell me that how fast I'm going to be able to go when I'm the one paying for this damn truck. But you ain't paying for the fuel, none of that stuff. I will never forget that, dude. That was
I governed my own truck. After I figured out that my own truck that I can go 84 miles an hour without a problem, I governed it.
Well,
Because
I don't see a problem
there's
like with
no
that.
reason for me to be going that fast.
No, Ryan, I don't disagree with you. I'm not saying like go 85 miles an hour. I'm just saying like if I'm paying, we have a car right now. All right, you go and you purchase a car, you finance it. The finance company does not say we're governing your car at 65 miles an hour. I'm paying.
They should.
Well, you're missing my point, Ryan. I know you get it. You're just fucking with me right now.
They should. I mean, honestly, the thing
but
is
the point is they governed him at the same speed that the company driver's going. I'm not me, dude. I am for governing. Honestly, I have said this a million times. I do not see the point of going over 70 miles an hour in a truck. I just don't. I don't. It doesn't get you anywhere faster. There's this little thing called math. And between 65 miles an hour over 10 hours and 70 miles an hour over 10 hours, it's only 50 fucking miles. And that's if you have a perfect day, no issues. So it really does not help you that much, and it kills your freaking fuel mileage. So I agree with you on that. My only point was that I had never heard of a lease purchase person, someone or anyone who is paying for a truck. They are making the truck note, they pay for the fuel, and someone telling them your truck can only go 63 miles an hour. Like it wasn't even 67 or 68. 63 miles an hour, dude. It's like, man, you're a glorified company driver, man.
They did him a favor though, because his fuel economy was better, so he would be more profitable because he got better fuel economy. So they really did him a favor.
I understand all that, man. I'm not disagreeing, bro. I'm just saying, like that's
how I'm a free man. I should be able to do what I want, right?
Well, I mean, it's that. I mean, yes, that's it. I'm not advocating for speeding. I'm just saying, like, I'm agreeing with you in the sense, like, that's how.
Yeah, it's my truck. I own it. How are you going to tell me what I can do with it?
They tell you everything you can do with this truck, and a lot of it has good behind it. Like a lot of lease purchase operators, dude, you have a strict maintenance program you need to keep up with. Like I agree with that, but again,
escrow. I had a $10,000 escrow.
I'm just saying that that I agree with you, man. Like a lot of them are
crazy thing. You know what's even crazier, Rob? Is Western Express didn't even own that truck. So I'm in a lease purchase agreement with a company that doesn't own the truck. Western Express, they want me to sign this agreement. They don't own the truck, and I'm supposed to be lease purchasing the truck, right? The whole point of a lease purchase is like a rent to own program, right? That's the whole point of it, right? 0 money down, no credit check, all this stuff, right? So obviously, if you put no money down, no credit check, none of that, you got no skin in the game. It's a full walk away lease. It's going to be predatory, right? But I was paying like $785 a week for a lease purchase truck.
And honestly,
that's
I think
$2,800 a month, dude.
I'll tell you, Brian, like in my opinion, when it comes to these lease purchase things, the part where these carriers honestly fail these lease purchasers is they allow anyone in their company to do it. Like you'd be there 6 months, they don't give a shit. And
Yeah, they don't care though. It's a revolving door.
What I mean by that is if they really wanted you to be successful, which it should be the goal, is they would also offer like a how to say it, like a training school or a mentorship. And what I mean by that is you're now a lease purchase operator. We're going to put you through a class that teaches you about.
They did that. They did that.
Oh,
so
really?
what they did was they sold my information to this company called ATBS.
Yeah.
Called me and I was like, yeah, this is ATBS for sure. I said it was something like that, like those letters. I don't know if that was like the exact thing, but they wanted me to pay them monthly. Oh, she must be tired. They wanted me to pay them monthly to do like my IFTA and my like all this stuff. Like they wanted me to pay them monthly. They would do my taxes, show me how I'm profitable and stuff like that. And I'm like, why am I going to pay you to do that? Like, shouldn't this company be helping with that stuff? Like,
yeah,
I don't need you to help me with that.
Yeah, that's I mean that's my point, man. It's set up for you to fail, man. I mean, it really is, dude.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's people who completed their lease purchases and they're very happy. But at Western Express, all those people are trainers because they're getting paid double the miles. And then listen to this. Ready? You want to hear this is the kicker, bud. At Western Express on a lease purchase, no matter what the lane paid, you got paid $1.25 per mile. $1.25 per mile for anything that is over 750 miles. If it was between 500 and 750, it was $1.50. And if it was less than 500 miles, you got paid $1.75 a mile. Now look at the cost of fuel. And you want to, and figure out, do all the math. I got a truck payment, $785. They're tagging me for IFTA. They're tagging me for a maintenance, maintenance account, an escrow account. They're tagging me for all these fees, occupational accident insurance. What else? Trailer interchange insurance, all this stuff. And just regular insurance too, bobtail insurance, all that stuff. They're deducting it. I had like 15 line items out of my pay stub. Only one line item to pay me.
I believe that.
$1.25 a mile.
Dude, I remember that. I remember back when I drove, you saw in the back of these trucks, now hiring owner operators, $1.50 a mile. And like with someone who doesn't know, who's making 35 cents a mile, you're like, oh, holy shit, that's good. And like, and again, when you're a company driver, you don't know owner operators, whatever, you don't understand all those additional costs, man. Like, all the,
when your fuel cost is $1 a mile.
Yeah, dude. It was absolutely crazy, man. So I don't know why I'm fucking yawning so much. Holy shit.
I don't know.
I don't either, bro. I don't either. I'm not tired. I don't know. I have like yawning attacks.
I'm tired myself too, honestly. I got I don't know if you can see the bags. I was up late last night. I think till like 3 in the morning.
Golly.
And I was up at 6 getting yelled at by my wife to get the kids ready for school. Typical day.
Oh my jeez, bro. You're
a household.
And he's still smiling. You got to give him credit for that.
No. Ryan is always happy, or at least every time we talk to him, he's always happy and smiling.
Still here.
Dustin, what's up, bro?
Hey, I just wanted to say,
these days are almost over. Pretty soon, I'll just be a doctor's husband.
You the man. And then you know what? Hey, I'm not saying to start a business or anything like that. I'm not giving you advice. But if she's a medical doctor, maybe some trucking companies may need to hire you for some health advice.
That's actually a thing. My wife, she's getting certified to be a FMCSA medical examiner too.
Oh wow! Congratulations.
She could do DOT physicals. So she's gonna do. I'm gonna be the first one that she does because my physical is coming up due here soon.
I want to tell you before we let Dustin loose. I want to tell you, you talk about those being a medical examiner thing for them, bro. Almost anyone with a doctorate could probably get one. And here's my example. When I was with McLean and PFG, they both used the same person to do your med card, and it was a fucking chiropractor. I'm serious, bro. It was a chiropractor.
It's still a doctor.
Shit, man.
So my wife is not going to be a medical doctor. She's going to be a nurse practitioner.
I know. But I mean, like you said,
still a doctorate degree.
Pretty much same.
Medical professional, then.
Yeah. So the FMCSA has some stipulations to keep your certification to be a medical doctor. They actually just went through their system. I think this was just like a couple of years ago. They went through and took a lot of the providers out. But there's like only one place here that does ours. It's called Syria Medcare, and they have like billboards on the interstate. It says truck parking available. Come get your DOT physical.
Dude, go over there. Go over there and give them a truck parking club flyer.
Make it a truck parking club location.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for real, bro. Hey, after hours, anytime after 5 p.m. to 6 a.m., you can park your truck here. There you go.
Yeah.
I went to see a guy today about that. He wasn't there, though. The owner wasn't there, but I got their number. I'm going to call him after I got the show, dude. Like, they have a sign that it says, truck parking coming soon. And I'm like, oh, bro. Dude, yeah. Fuck yeah. Go there and see. Anyway, Dustin, what's crack-a-lacking? Mr. Logistical Canadian.
Hey, you know what? Like I said, we started kind of 3 weeks ago. Yeah, I guess 3 weeks ago today. You know, so I try to improve it bit by bit each week. I try to learn something new, and then I kind of figured, I'm like, oh, y'all got your trade names of like Pedro Potato, the Freight Hustler, and stuff like that. So I'm like, you can still know who I am, but I'm like, hey, the Logistical Canadian. It's like, okay, what other way to describe it? I try to be, professional and like, kind of that like in between that, like, I don't want to be known, or I could be known as whatever. I really don't care at this point. And few things, just so everybody's aware, this is all within the community guidelines and protected by free speech, and we're expressing our opinions. And number one, all of the, like, I understand that a lot of these conversations make people feel uncomfortable, and you want to know something? It should. Why? Because safety is important, compensation is important, all of this stuff is important. This is what we do for a living. And like all of these conversations, like, like, I wish there could be just one answer and be like, oh yeah, let's do it all. But everything is so fragmented, like from medical examiners to safety providers to owner operators to lease program purchasers to people managing information for taxes and lawyers and insurance and mechanics and warehouse like it's literally, I think the number is maybe like 68% of every job in North America or even the US, directly or indirectly, is supply chain and logistics related, or transportation, all of that included. So like the point is, like, I think this is fantastic because this creates dialogue amongst people. Is there a right and wrong answer? Yes and no. Are we going to argue? Yeah, of course. But if we don't have these conversations, how can we improve things? I get it. The driver's pointing the finger at this person. Then the owner's pointing it at this person. The insurance company's pointing it at this person. Then the lawyers are pointing it at this person. And I get it. Like, everybody, I'm not saying everybody, but people want to put the blame on people. And like, of course, we have to own accountability and things like that. But like, also at the same time, we've also got to like minimize risk and all of this. So I think it's fantastic with what you guys are doing and having these conversations. And this may make people feel really uncomfortable, and I get that. But at the same time, if we don't have these tough conversations, how can we improve anything? Whether it's safety, whether it's speed, whether it's predatory towing, predatory anything, contract reviews, freight brokers, like I learned something new every time. Like I didn't even really realize that there were medical examiners that actually do for driver fitness. Like, obviously, I'm aware to it, but a certain degree. But that is so important because there are so many like good doctors, medical professionals, however it is, and like like there's always something new to learn as a way to have like conversations with people. And for me, I can only speak in my experience with talking with drivers or dealing with drivers or customers. We all have these fragmented realities of everything that it's just like it'll give you a headache, like not only a headache, like we all know, we deal with it on a day-to-day basis. So like I think this is fantastic, and it's just taking things one day at a time. And I want to applaud all the people that are trying to improve things. And even sometimes people are doing stuff and they don't even realize they're doing it. So it's like like, oh, like I get it. And I just think it's like fantastic because safety is also important. Compensation is important. Reducing risk is important. Having tough conversations about like the realities of this stuff, of you know addictions that exist. Like, what? Oh, sure, that makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't care anymore. This is the stuff we have to talk about, or at least discuss. We can have our limits. I get that and I respect that. But at the same time, like, how are we going to improve like the driver's experience? Or, like, the thing is, not every drive, like, you can agree or disagree, and that's cool. Like, I'm open to dialogue. Not all drivers want to be an owner operator. Not all owner operators want to have a fleet of 1,000 trucks and trailers. Not every driver wants to go into Brooklyn. Not every driver wants to go to California. So it's like, like, everybody has their role to play. That not everybody wants to be a billionaire. Like Bruno Mars would say, I want to be a billionaire so freaking bad, which is cool. Some want to do your thing. Not everybody wants the same thing. And I think that's even more important, because then you start to realize it's like, oh, cool. Like, I don't need to compete with that person, or I can compete with this person. And, like I say, like, I learn something new every day. Like, this is why I love transportation, logistics, supply chain, because everybody's trying to listen to what we have to say as an industry. Like, all of our voices matter. It's not like we're just trying to say, oh yeah, we do what you're told and blah blah blah. I get that exists too, but the point is that this is everybody's reality. Like, everybody's like learned it about, like, during COVID and all of that stuff. If you could say, like, what's the two most, I just want to say one last thing, that if you just summarize what is the two words that literally became mainstream to everywhere in the world: logistics, transportation, and supply chain. That's in like everybody's vocabulary now. And like, so yeah, like, that's just my opinion, and just from my personal experience, and just kind of interjecting on some of the stuff that everyone was saying. And I think it's fantastic. And I like I say, I like just taking one things a day at a time. And yeah, you just got to keep working together, as much as we
to touch on what you said towards the beginning. I'm with you. This industry is very fragmented. With all the different players in it. From driver training and instruction to how the people who help you get your CDL at the DMV, and the ones that do the med cards, to who does the fuel card. Like, there are a lot of parts in this industry, and the thing about that is that all of them fall under, technically, or in a lot of senses, under another industry that may not be as regulated as it needs to be, and it opens the doors for things to be predatory. And I know that's a word that we use a lot now, but I think that's because that's a lot of those things are really getting raised as concerns. The lease purchase agreements. Predatory brokers and carriers, and all these other things. And I really, that fragmentation honestly makes it a little difficult, because how do you police all of these different entities and different companies or industries that are also involved in our industry? You know what I mean? And it gives way for people to also pass the buck, even when it comes to brokers dealing with loads, man. Like there's things that brokers pass the buck onto the shipper, or they pass it on to the carrier or the insurance company.
I'll tell you I'll tell you how you do it. Want to know how you police it? Validate, baby.
Well, yeah, I mean, yes, I agree. In the sense of what Freight Validate does, 1,000%. They're Dell and his people are amazing at the part that they're involved in the industry. But with us talking about the lease purchase thing, there is no regulatory organization or agency over lease purchases. There's no regulatory agency or rules or laws against or that police fuel cards or medical doctors.
Well, the FMCSA tried to fix that lease purchase thing, but anytime the government tries to fix it, what you're saying, Rob, about government fixing problems?
Well, I'm not. Yes, I'm not. I'm not.
What you're saying, though, Rob?
No, I know it comes off that way.
Ryan's on bully mode right now.
Well, don't be one of those people that you said this, but you mean that.
That's Ryan's MO, man.
What's the saying that you always say? I want to say it.
I like that Ryan does that stuff because it invokes further conversation and deeper thought and explanation on things. And but what I'm saying, man, when I mean agency, I know everyone thinks government, and I do mean that in a sense, but I also just mean period. There are no freight validate companies out there overseeing medical review officers when it comes to drug testing or med cards. There's no freight validate out there that's looking over lease purchase agreements and shit, unless you're a lawyer and then you're fucking charging them X amount of dollars to review the contract.
Well, the only thing that really does anything like that is I guess like a glass door, like a glass door or a Better Business Bureau that gives you a brief overview or gives personal insight. But that's what I was saying earlier, like if you're trying to get in and be a driver, don't just jump into it because you see a YouTube video saying oh, I can make, $15,000 a week right off the rip. All I got to do is get my CDL. No, that's foolish. If you want to do something, get into it and, do your research. Because you got to take everything. You can't take anything for face value these days. So, whether it be a doctor or a lawyer, even if I'm selling guitars, and I need somewhere to store my products, well, I'm not just going to go to the cheapest, warehouse or, see the first ad that pops up on Google and say, hey, I'm going to trust these guys with everything I have. You got to do your due diligence.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And all of you said you have all valid points on all of that stuff because it's one of those things too is do you really want over regulation that it makes it literally so hard to do anything? So it's there's a valid argument for every discussion that you have on this topic, and then you can also say the exact same thing as okay, everybody is aware or they have the option to consult their own lawyer or consult their own doctor. So at the same time, we can all point the finger at somebody else, but we also need to have personal accountability. And I get it. Nobody wants to spend $200, $15,000 for a lawyer or whatever. The reality is even lawyers have lawyers and doctors have doctors. So it's like I say, there's no one answer that fits everything. That's you're going to have unregulated industries. You're going to have bad actors no matter what you do, and you're going to have good people that do what they do. That's just
I think it's just human nature. That's the way
the duality of the industry.
There's no morals or ethics anymore. And I said this to Hunter the other day. I'm like, there's so many snakes in this industry.
In the grass, man. You got to watch out left and right.
In logistics and transportation supply chain, there's so many snakes. It's ridiculous how many bad people are in this industry.
With huge followings to add on top of that, huge followings. And I don't know, man. It's I hate to use this example, but it's dude, just people blind, it's blind faith, blind following. You gotta like back in the day, man, before Twitter, had the option to, get the premium with the blue check mark. Well, if you were a famous person of, their, Twitter saying, okay, this person's, legitimate, they have a voice. Well, man, you got basketball players out there talking about politics and all this crazy shit, but people see that and that's their opinion. That's what they follow as truth. And
Yeah, of course.
it's sad to see because people really don't have their own opinions on things. They don't
Opinions are
formulate
like
their own thoughts
assholes.
and the what?
Opinions are like assholes, and most of them stink.
Yeah. It's like you got I mean, you you got to be able to pick something out, that you don't agree with. I mean, not all the time, but like I said, don't take it for face value. Anything.
No, of course there's really no answer to just say that yes, this is the answer and that's how it is. There's so many questions, and even like speaking on the you could say that some people who are very deceptive, whether you want to call them snakes or whatever it is, that I'm aware of that. That's why I just do my best to try and connect with good people, and you find your community. It's kind of, somebody said this to me, and I thought this was fantastic, was that there are people that have big followings and there's some that have small followings. Some prefer quantity of connections, some like quality of connections, some like a little bit of in between in both. But the point is that whatever your message is, or whatever you feel comfortable doing, or you have the opinion of doing, or whatever it is, go to where your audience is. There's certain things that I definitely dislike, and I fucking despise it. But I don't go I don't go it directly, and you know what I mean? Like, I try to be respectful, and then I'll give you an example. For me, I don't fucking care about a huge following, and I'll give you one reason why. Maybe it's because I'm very diligent. That's just me. I've seen it firsthand on how there can be very, very deceptive people in transportation. Whether it's double brokers, whatever the circumstances. So that's just how my experience is shaped. And I've had people that I was like, cool, let me open up my following on LinkedIn. Let's see how this goes. And I get it. Some people don't want to connect because they're lurkers. They just want to
stay in the shadows and just watch.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that, because people some people don't want to come out and say things publicly because they can't. They're there's all kinds of reasons. But for me, what I would do is I did my own due diligence of what I call my LinkedIn due diligence. That I would look at some of my followers and I reach out to them, because every connection is a potential lead or a prospect for whatever you're trying to do. Or at least at least that's because I'm in sales. So, sales in operations. So that's just how my mind works. And I started reaching out to some of the people that were following me, and I reached out to one guy, and he owned a trucking company. I ran his information in the just the FMCSA database, just to get a brief, oh, okay, cool. I was like, this trucking company doesn't even exist. I'm like, bro, why do you have a transportation company name and you don't have a DOT number? And he's like, oh man, I'm just trying to get in this industry. I was like, okay, for one, you're being deceptive right from the bat, and you expect me to trust you? And he's like, oh man, I'm just trying to learn. I was like, look, I get people are trying to learn, but don't fucking lie your way to try and do this shit. This is I get it. People want to get in, they want to make money. I understand that. And just that from the get-go, I lost all fucking trust for you. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not opening up my connections to people, because if you're having people that are trying to do this and stuff, and they're having misrepresented trucking company names that don't exist and shit like that, what's your true intention? Whatever. That's fine. You're not my audience, and go to where you can see people who share content. Do your thing. That's completely fine. And that's just my strategy. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody does what they do, and yeah. So not to give all kinds of details, but there's a they say, go to where your audience is. My audience is shippers. I like people in the legal industry, because they're sharing great things to avoid or be aware of. Insurance, the industry, I value all those quality connections, because it's oh, cool, I didn't think about this. I'll give you, and I'm not giving anybody legal advice. I'm just this is just my experience and stuff like that. So this may not resonate with you. that's cool as well. You know, do your thing. But the point is like everybody's got what works, and you know, just basically whatever your message is, go to where your audience is. And if your audience and your community relate, great. You know, so yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Justin
I
is
mean,
the
you
king
gotta
of
you gotta cover your ass, man. You gotta cover
Well, I
your
ain't
ass.
no kidding. I look, it's because when people watch this stuff back, they like I and I know some lawyers will watch this later on and they'll be like, "Oh, cool, Dustin, I like that," because they'll send me a message and be like, "That's cool." Like the point is, you don't got to make this complicated. You know, like it's not about like legal advice or whatever. That's just me expressing my opinion. It's kind of like how I have on my profile. Yes, I own IoT Logistics. I'm the only owner of IoT Logistics. But if anybody, and I have this, and I love when people do this, is when they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna find out who you are." Go ahead, find out who I am. If you want, just ask me. There's a reason why I have on my profile credentials available upon request. Then there can be no argument of you saying, "Oh, la 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 la," like, no. Like, fuck off with all that bullshit. Like, if you want,
Dustin,
just ask.
Dustin, we Hunter and I want you to DM us the truth. You're a fucking lawyer, aren't you? Like
No, I'm
Dustin
not.
works
you,
for the
Great
CIA,
DM
question.
us
I
the
man.
see.
truth.
I see how you're tricking me. Okay, here. You know what? Great question. And I'm going to answer that for you. Number one, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a legal professional. I'm not licensed in any single state in the U.S. I'm not licensed in Canada. I don't practice law.
He's only licensed in 5 provinces.
Providences. What's a providence? Do you mean Rhode Island?
No, in Canada. Aren't they called provinces?
No, they're actually called provinces.
Province.
However,
Okay.
that's okay. I'm not trying to trick you or anything. The same way that you're doing to me, it's all good. No. Here's the thing. The reason why like I like or I appreciate the legal industry is because everybody has access to a lawyer if you want it. Even if you spend $200, can you imagine what $200 can save you of what to avoid? Some lawyers are going to give it to you straight. Some of them will take your money, and some will actually tell you, no, don't do this because of this reason. And you know, you make your own decision and stuff like that. You don't have to agree with them. They're just basing things on their experience or whatever. So, you know, like I say, I'm not endorsing nobody or whatever like that. It's just I just like that because that's such an important thing, at least from my experience, because like I was in construction, so you know, like you know, people always talk about contracts and rate confirmations, not having this, having that. So like,
Yeah.
you know, it's important whether you want to say it or not. So like you know, like it is what it is. You know, I'm like I say, I just appreciate that stuff because you know I've paid for lawyers that have saved me. I don't even know how much. I can't even put a dollar figure on that. But the point is that sometimes spending $250 or $500 or $10,000 or $500 million or $10 billion, whatever the number is, like what are you saving by actually helping you? That's their job. It's their duty to protect you if that's what you want access to. Everybody has access to it if that's what they want. You know, like yeah, everything costs, but like you know, I get it. There's no right or wrong answer to everything. It's just you know that's just me. I just like that stuff because I just think it's cool that there are a lawyer's lawyer. It's like what? Did you know that there's a logistics provider that's a logistics provider? Like you know whatever. It is what it is. I'm like I say, I'm a blue collar guy. I like hanging out with truckers. I like having good conversations. I don't know how to you know phrase my language where it's like perfect or it's the greatest thing.
You don't gotta be politically correct when you're in the lounge.
Yeah, you know, like I try to be respectful because I get it, you know, but it's yeah. So it is what it is. It's just free flowing conversation, professional experience, and you know, just discussions to you know learn something new that just to improve the industry as best as I can. Like you know, like that's why I love Canada and the U.S. because like we're we're so dependent on one each other that like you know we need food, we need truck drivers, we need dock workers, we need construction workers, we need lawyers, we need insurance providers,
I think you
accountants.
got that wrong, Dustin. I don't think we're dependent on each other. I think one is dependent upon the other.
Okay, we're interdependent then. We're your wife would like this one, and you can say this to her if you don't know it already. Is that we're an interdisciplinary professional team.
Yeah.
In the practice of our industry, whatever.
I mean, I think the U.S. probably depends on Canada for some stuff, but I think Canada depends on the U.S. for more.
Do you want to have this conversation? Because I'll give you the numbers right now.
No.
No. I'm just joking. I got the macro and the micro numbers always ready to have a conversation.
Yeah.
No, it's not about one better than the other. You know, like
one still kisses the ring, and one actually declared independence.
We the lounge has a few Canadians that we like, and you're one of them, Dustin. So don't you worry. Don't worry.
No,
hey, how do you not know that I don't have dual citizenship?
That's very possible. It doesn't matter. Your name says.
I'm just joking. Like, of course,
passport.
Yeah.
Well, actually, when you live in New York, you don't even need
it. Canada.
That's what we're saying. Damn them Canadians.
Hey, you know what? Sure, no problem. Say what you want, but at least our privacy laws are way better than the states.
So did you hear about Dustin? Did you hear about Brazil?
What about Brazil?
Brazil canceled Twitter. Did you guys hear that?
No.
Did they really?
Brazil canceled Twitter, bro. You can't use Twitter if you live in Brazil.
Why? What was their reasoning behind it?
They woke up. They're woke now, bro.
Yeah. That's what it is, free speech. That's why.
I mean, X isn't for everybody, man. It is the Wild West of social medias. I mean, outside of Reddit, but Reddit's unmatched. They're the OGs of it all. But come on, man. Do better, Brazil. Do better. You guys. I mean, dude, Brazil is the crime country.
See, that's all good information to know. Like,
X is super crazy.
Oh, hell yeah, it is.
I
mean, in Brazil, you got people beheading, referees of soccer games that are like local joints, just because.
Oh my
just
gosh,
that's fact.
It's crazy. It's literally nuts. And some of the conspiracies that you hear over there, I'm like, you guys need to relax. Like, please go smoke a joint or something. Like, you guys need to relax. I'll trade them for Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, you get in those spaces, man. Like, you got the UFO groups, the flat earthers, and then the
flat earthers, bro. Like, are you kidding me?
The flat Earth guys are hilarious. Like, I'll sit there and listen to that while I'm going to bed, dude.
Earth is still flat. Like, are you out of your mind? Like,
hey, Kyrie Irving does, and he is a professional basketball player making millions of dollars, and he will die on that hill.
Yeah.
Just because you're rich doesn't mean you're intelligent, though.
No.
Yeah.
And I would say I followed, like, when that whole flat earth thing became a deal, like, I went down that hole, just like, I don't know, some people do, you just go down the rabbit hole and see how far they can take it. And dude, like, I was watching that stuff and I'm like, I make some pretty good fucking arguments.
Until you see that show, there was like some show that they had on, and it was like people literally just trying to prove that Earth was flat, and they spent like all this money doing this little this experiment, and they proved themselves wrong.
Ryan, JB says he'll trade you. He'll give Canada our Ryan if we can get
Ryan Reynolds. Yeah,
I'm much better looking than Ryan Reynolds.
Oh my gosh! And you see, like, everything that you just said, like, these are also valid conversations to have, because, like, like, whatever, like, whatever floats your boat, whatever you're interested in, like, do your thing, like, conversation is conversation and discussion, and
so I want to talk about something that you kind of touched on, Dustin, with the followers and stuff like that.
Sure.
So what is your policy on blocking somebody? Like, if you have like somebody who's like commenting against your views, do you enter into a debate with them in the comments, like, or do you block them because they're not running the same narrative as you? What do you feel about blocking people on social media?
It just all really depends on the conversation. Like some discussions are great, but then it just goes so far that like no matter how much facts, opinions, whatever that you give somebody, some people just want to keep taking it as far as it'll go. And it's like, okay, you want to know something? Like, whatever, it is what it is. Like, I had a conversation, on to the next one. And, if I don't mind having like a good debate about something or a discussion or a negotiation, but it comes to a certain point that it's like, okay, this is pointless. It's not productive. Like, some things are good for the algorithm, some things are not. So it just comes to a point. It's like, is this worth the mental energy to keep going on having this discussion? Because some people, it doesn't matter how much facts, evidence, opinions, statistics, data, whatever that you present them, people are still going to have their view on certain things. And like you just, put it this way: if you argue with an idiot, they'll beat you with experience every time. So, whatever that means to you. So,
I love that comment. I personally I don't really ever block anyone because I don't know. So sometimes even if you're an idiot, like I don't know,
I don't believe in blocking
people. But on the debate thing that you were saying, Ryan, and what you touched on, just I have a 2 to 3 reply limit, and I think that's really all you fucking need to deal with a debate. Like 2 or 3 good replies, and then 2 or 3 good replies from them. And if the conversation isn't moving towards, something understandable or a compromise or an agreement on views in some sense, it's like, yeah, this is fucking moot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's absolutely no point to this. So, yeah, that's
yeah,
my thing.
You can just stop engaging them, right? But I don't believe in blocking people because I feel like that takes away the freedom of speech, right? You can say whatever you want. You have that freedom. You have that right to say whatever you want.
Of course.
You don't have to say it on my platform, but if you feel the need to, then go ahead. And I don't have to respond to you if I don't want to. I don't have to engage it, right? I'll just let it sit there, right? A comment sit there. You don't like it, what I had to say, and you're not for it. You want to rebuttal what I said, and I don't feel like I want to engage with it, then I won't engage with it. That's fine. But I don't believe in blocking people.
Hey, and you know what? To each their own.
I feel like
it's kind of like property lines. If you own a big, large acreage of land, like there comes to a certain point that you need to put up no trespassing signs because people are with their dirt bikes or going mudding and things like that. That it is what it is. It's like watching TV. You can either choose to accept to continue watching it, or you can change the channel. So I just look at it as that I'm just I'm how do I say this? I refine the process of what's actually in my feed because that's just me. And if it doesn't work for you, cool. It is what it is. Move on to the next one. And
Yeah, I just think that like blocking people is something that's like it's like a very liberal thing to do.
Well, depends what you define as liberal, but and depends.
All right, we're not going to get into that now.
Hey.
No, liberal.
Okay. No. It is. We talk
either you're liberal or you're conservative.
Actually, you can be neutral and be impartial with things.
Yeah, you can be too. Yeah, and that's where I feel like fall on a lot of issues. It's not. People made liberal and conservative politics like terms.
The only reason I say that is because, dude, like Sage and J Mart told us, like it takes one fucking word or sentence out of 500 sentences you've made to trigger something and throw you into a different algorithm or put you in a box. And so that's it, bro. That's what it is. I just, I'm sure all of our beliefs are fairly similar. And if they're not, that's okay too. But yeah, I just, that's all it is. But yeah, I don't believe in blocking people here. I think it's now unless
I'm fiscally conservative. I'm fiscally conservative. I'm very liberal though when I go to the strip club.
What
does that even mean?
We're gonna now be thrown into the
and that was the end of the show.
It was a good run.
Thanks for coming, guys. Ryan is clearly tired. We have to put him to bed.
That's fucking. Hey, on that note though, I do need to chop out of here in a few minutes. My kiddo is off work and he's on his way home, and so I know he's gonna want to come in here and have his private time. So, man, I can't wait to build my office in the garage, dude. I need to get working on that, man, so I can build my fucking office, so I can have my own little space. Free money to the college girls. I know. Oh, sorry. There you go. I know that's freaking right. Free money to college. All right. Dustin, we'll start with you since you were our last entrance on the show. Any exiting comments, questions, concerns, updates, any of that?
I think, great conversation. We can all have different views and opinions, and it is what it is. Just keep on trucking, like that's that's the best way you could say, like keep promoting safety, keep having these conversations. Just like they say, keep on trucking. That's really the only thing that I could say, because we all have opinions, views, debates, whatever it is, right, wrong, who's to interpret this, blah 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 blah, and so it is what it is, and just keep the conversation going, because like we need to have these conversations. People are really starting to pay attention. I'll just give you an example just to end this off. I think it was fantastic. I forget who published it, so I would love to give credit to you, but my mind can't keep up with every bit of information. But there's a very important thing that came out. I believe it was from the FMCSA and a whole bunch of other like agencies that are putting out like a 60-day request for information to basically get information from everybody in the industry, from intermodal to transportation to logisticians to drivers to port operators to I can't even I forget all of them, but the point is that like we're just trying to improve the industry. Everybody's just trying to improve the industry in whatever way that we can, and so yeah, just keep on trucking.
Hell yeah.
Amen.
That's all I have to say.
Dustin, I'm so glad you got to be here, man. You we got to have you on again. I'm a DM you, and Hunter and I are gonna ask you some questions, and I think what we're gonna ask you. I'm not gonna say it on the show, but like Hunter and I were like dumbfounded the other day about something. But I know you know what we're talking about. Like Hunter was like, "Dude, what the fuck?" And I was like, "He's like, can you?" And I looked, and I was like, "No, I can't."
The situation has been resolved, but
Yeah,
let's definitely we'll
Let
chat
me
it
be
up
very,
off
very
camera.
transparent. I'll just say this, is that what? We're all going through stuff. To pretend like there's nothing bothering you of like, family issues, losing a job, losing a customer, whatever the circumstances, we're all going through stuff. So we're all just trying to deal with it in our own way to communicate better. And even for me, this is new to me. I reject 99% of every podcast request I get. I screen it like freight validate. So like, so I'll even be a little bit vulnerable with this. That this is something new that I'm doing. That I'm just trying to, put myself out there to be like, hey, have these industry conversations. Show that like, I'm not going to say her name, but like, she's a, how do I say this? She is a very, very strong, influential person in certain industries. And what that means is that even she's having the conversation to say, we got to be able to talk about
Kardashian.
What's that?
Not Kim Kardashian.
Hey, if you like her and everything like that, personally, hey, to each your own.
That family is a fucking dumpster fire, bro. I don't see anybody finds them fucking interesting. They're like,
did you hear that Kylie had a load of her cosmetics or her vitamins stolen or whatever it was?
Cares? Like they're the most untalented fucking people. I hate those people. I do. I can't fucking stand them. They ride the coattails of their fucking father, and how despicable is that? Just think about that.
Their stepfather. Oh no, yeah, it was.
Well, some of their father, some of their stepfather, but dude, I'm talking about Kardashian and Jenner. Both of their fucking dads are famous people, and they ride the fucking coattails. And as soon as Bruce turned into Caitlyn, they were Kardashians again. You know, it's like whatever. I don't want to get all that shit. Those people.
Remember, go to where your audience is. Like, obviously, that's not our audience, or I can't speak for anybody. That's not my audience and stuff like that. So, you know, do your thing. You know,
no, we don't want that. Mr. Ryan.
Yeah.
Exit comments, questions, concerns, updates.
Oh, updates. Check out the Spotify, baby. We're on Spotify. Logistics Lounge on Spotify. I got my employee uniform today.
I love that, bro.
I
love that. That looks good on you.
Hey, you know what's even funnier is Ryan thinks he gets to go to sleep after this. We're putting his ass to work. A high rate of 20 cents a post.
Yeah, check out the Spotify. I'm uploading the podcast there. There's a lot of episodes that I'm going back and trying to download and stuff. My computer keeps telling me that it's not capable of doing this stuff because it's old, and you know how it is working with old people. Old people are slow, so we're trying to work with that. I ordered a hover round for my computer to try to make it faster. I mean a hard drive, external hard drive. So working on all that, but check out the Spotify. There's I think at least 5 episodes up there and some really good ones. But you know, when we get on these marathons that are 6, 7, 9 hours long, it takes a while to upload those.
Not happening anymore, man.
Yeah. I know today we're way over because the guest left. The guest didn't show, and so it kind of turned into a freestyle Friday.
There you go. But that's what's great about the lounge, right? I mean, we have a lot of different people from every side of the industry in here, and that's what makes it cool, and that's why we can have, you know, these important conversations. And you know, I think that it's a great platform for anybody to come on and talk. I think that it was cool that there was somebody from a CDL school coming over. You know, we're going to continue reaching out to different people in the industry. You know, and on all sides of it, and keep putting out good stuff. So stay along for the ride, guys. And
man, Ryan, you're so fucking awesome, bro. You're such an awesome groupie. We love you, dude. Man, bro.
You know what's so funny is how things happen. Like it's crazy how you build relationships on accident, right? Like Hunter, I posted that somebody invited me to a podcast and Hunter makes a comment, "Hey, you're welcome on the show anytime."
I remember that.
The Logistics Lounge is so hard to get on. I was scheduled out like a fucking month and a half. I'm like, I'm not even cool enough to be on this show that I have to wait a month and a half. Like, come on, man. There's got to be somebody you can X and get me in here. So I had to wait a month and a half.
Look where our relationship and now our friendship has gone, dude. And it's only been a couple months, man. And you're right. Like, things are so
now
weird.
I'm moving to Waco so I can be closer to Pedro. I was looking at houses last night on Waco Lake. They're like $5.9 million. But
I know, bro. Them things are fucking crazy.
That's it.
Maybe I can pave a parking lot there and have truck parking club members come.
Ryan, I'll go in half on you. You'll get one half of the house. I'll get the other half. You know, and you get a big enough house, man. I mean, all 3 of us could live in there with our families and never see each other for 3 days, man.
9 mil in Texas would buy you a fucking massive estate if you did it right, knew where to look. Like, you would get a massive amount of fucking land and stuff in house in Texas for 9 mil. If I had 9 mil to spend on the land, I'd probably woo-wee. Anyway, Hunter.
Yep.
I know you were quiet most of the show, man, which I know sometimes is how you go. You just let the conversation flow.
I mean, shit, you always sitting here talking about CDLs and, you know, stuff that I don't know about. But, you know, when you get Ryan in the show with you as well, it's hard to hard to get a word in
I
edgewise.
know. Fuck off. We know.
Hunter controlled the show last night with Dooner. He was the man last night. Hunter was the
his guest, man. Like Hunter and I try to do that. You know, whoever brings the person or books the person, like Hunter and I try to let them lead the thing or whatever.
Yeah, it's the ebbs and flows of the logistics lounge. I mean, but
so because Hunter had all kinds of questions and shit for him, which was fantastic.
Yeah, it's good stuff. But yeah, no real pressing stuff. Tomorrow we got a great show lined up. We got old Trey Griggs coming on. That's gonna be hype. That's gonna be a good show.
Yeah.
Very excited for that one.
Are you doing live karaoke with Trey Griggs?
The possibility. I already asked Pedro, man. I would do karaoke if that's a possible thing.
Hunter. Let's go. Pull out the vinyls. Let's go.
Let's get it, man. I'll break out the guitar. We'll make it a whole shebang, dude. We'll do. I'm telling you, man. The lounge talent show.
Truck stop. Hold on.
Truck stop. Welcome.
You missed the post. You need to go on X and you need to go check the Logistics Lounge page and Dooner's page and go check out the Zen post that was made last night. Go read all those funny dude. Those
I actually just saw Truck Stop is sponsored by Zen now.
Oh, really?
Are they?
That'd be funny.
I don't know. It could be a shit post, but I'd like to think so.
Hey,
but
you know what? We gotta get. I don't know if this is the person. I think their name was Joey. We got to get with Justin and get Justin to hook us up with that media guy. Remember we went by Truck Stop.
Don't be spilling any kind of beans, bro. Don't be spilling any kind of beans.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can absolutely try.
That's right. We do. Hey, whoever the person is right now at Truck Stop, I believe, I may be wrong, but I believe their name was Joey. If this is Joey, or if you can get Joey, get him to DM Hunter or I or the Logistics Lounge page on LinkedIn or X, which is what you're watching on. We really want to have you on. We tried to hook it up with you at Max. We just weren't able to align.
Has anybody from Truck Stop been on?
No. We're trying to get the social media person on. So Justin knows the social media person over there.
They're not going to come on.
Yeah, no, I guarantee $10 though. The comment's going to be, "I'm just a load board."
I'm just whatever. Rick, I don't even care if it's a social media person. I just want someone from Truck Stop to come on.
I think Truck Stop's doing a lot of good things, and they have so many different facets of their business that I think that you should get them on, because they're not just a load board. They're a factoring company, RMIS, they're trucker tools. So yeah, it'd be great to have.
No, I do. I wanna have them on, man. They're in my group on Facebook. They've been commenting on the show for quite a while, and so yeah, I do. I wanna get one of them on. Like I said, we had tried to hook up with someone at Matt's, but it just the 2 times Hunter and I stopped by there, they weren't there. But we do appreciate the badass Bluetooth speaker that you freaking gave us.
Dude, I've been using this thing so much.
Dude, look at it's real wood on top of that thing. These are fucking nice.
It's tight.
Was it
beep boop? We're in trucking. We do honk honk.
Oh, man, they're just a robot.
They're just a load board. That's all they do.
Truck park clubs or Truck Stop's not a person.
No, they're just a load board, man. They're just a technology. It's all.
But on the closing comments, everybody watch tomorrow. Thank everybody for being here.
Good.
Ryan, thanks for being here. Dustin, thanks for being here. JB, Anil, Josh, all love, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. And go to the website, go to our Spotify, go to YouTube, go to our platforms. Give us some love, give us some followings, give us some retweets, whatnots, and yeah.
Sounds good.
Show goes on.
Fuck yeah, I'm with you on that. Good closing comment. I don't have anything else to add to that. Hunter just fucking said it all right there. Before we go, we're going to go ahead and give some love to our wonderful sponsor, Sureline. Dude, I'm going to have to find a way to implement what Corey said. I'm Sureline sure. I'm Sureline sure that they're the best factoring company out there. to the yizzy. Hell to
Sweet.
the yizzy. We man, we just appreciate everybody coming and chilling. Sorry that we didn't have our guest on, but we still were able to get into the CDL instruction. I'll reach out to our guy and see what happened, and maybe we can book him. Maybe third time is charm. And with that, we will bid adieu. As I always say, chunk them deuces. Mr. Hound, roll that beautiful bean footage.